fuck you doing?
Remember that name? Good Pizza with 3 Z's, baby. 3 Z's.
What's up, guys? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, check this out. This week we got an absolute legend in the house. Yes, Sean from Murphy's Ridge came through to tell his story. This guy's an absolute champion, an example of perseverance. This guy's a crazy story about his journey in cannabis, how he got a serious injury that changed his life forever, and what he's had to do to keep the party rolling. This guy is a true champion, a good friend of mine, and I'm happy to have him on the show. You guys are gonna love this episode, man. See you on the show.
I had one homie that's still a good homie that his dad was paralyzed from like an industrial accident.
Oh shit.
So when I first met him and his dad was in a chair, I was like, whoa, bro, your dad's in a wheelchair. You know, like it was trippy.
Yeah.
And then,
Just before
like,
your incident?
oh yeah. Then like 21 years later, that's when I got a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And the shit paralyzed me. And one of the first motherfuckers that was trying to get a hold of me in the hospital, it took him about 2 months.
Yeah.
But it was my boy's dad. And he's like, Sean, what level are you? I'm like, what do you fucking mean? What level am I, bro? Because in the wheelchair world, it's all about levels.
Okay.
And he's
what
like,
level are you?
T3.
T3.
So that's your third vertebrae in your thoracic zone.
Okay.
So like, you have
below.
cervical. This is your your vertebrae. It starts out in your cervical, then it hits your thoracic, and the cervical is C1 through C7. And then right after that, you hit the thoracic. It goes T1 to T12.
And then it's L, right?
And then it's lumbar.
For lumbar, yeah.
Yep. And then it's L1 through like L7. And then it just burst off into a bunch of like little wires.
Yeah.
And that's your spinal cord. They call it the horse's whip, right above the ass. All of your nerve endings go down your legs. They send signals to your toes, everything. Yeah. Everything's fucking operated by the computer, bro, upstairs.
Yeah.
And so when you get a gunshot wound or you break your neck or you get any kind of like crazy injury to your spinal cord, you're either fully paralyzed, which they classify as A, or you're like a D, completely fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? That body is working like a computer. So if you're a T3, but you're not complete, you're going to be a B, a C, or something like that. But if you're complete, like a motherfucker can stab you or poke you with a pin, wherever your injury is, if they can poke you underneath it and you don't feel it, you're complete.
Okay.
That and the other one that's fucking crazy is the nurses will stick a finger up your ass and ask you if you can feel it.
Whoa.
And bro, at first I swear to God, bro, it's so crazy. At first I'm like, yeah, I feel it. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, I can feel it. I can feel it. Yep. And they're like, yeah, he's complete. Because they didn't even have their finger in my ass. But that's how they end up teaching you how to control your bowels. And then you have to learn how to control your bladder.
Whoa.
It's a fucking management program, dude. It's crazy. I mean, there's all kind of medicine you can do that fucking is additional shit. You can, get a surgically implanted like colostomy bag or some shit.
Really?
You can have surgically implanted like bladder bags so you don't have to go intermittently, you know? But it's all fucking medical, bro. It's all crazy. And then I'm like, when's this shit gonna end? And they're like, are you listening to us? And I'm like, yeah, I'm picking up everything. And they're like, yeah, probably the rest of your life, man. Like this is your new day to day. And I'm like, what? Because I wasn't even independent at that point, bro.
Really?
Meaning I couldn't put in my own catheters. A catheter is like a bag, bro. And you fucking, you stick that thing all the way up into your bladder. But you go through the tip of your dick, of course.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
Like you tell a fucking straight fucking, dude that's never had any problems actually been, superb in his fitness and health and then get shot at 30. I turned 36 in the ICU.
No shit,
Yeah.
man.
So it's like, I'm 36 years old, bro, with 3 kids, married, fucking trapping. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm stopped. I'm in ICU in a coma for 6 weeks. And then I'm going, because I lived, then I'm going through rehab shit. And then they're telling me, yeah, this is how you piss. This is how you control your bowel. This is how sexual function. Yeah, you don't have it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get a hard on. You could take drugs for the shit. All this stuff I learned.
So that's what my boy was telling me. Like, he's like, yo, I still like with my shorty. Like,
see, I don't know if he can still bust a nut or not.
I don't know, but he tell me he takes some shit and he can get hard and like do his thing with his shorty. But I'm like, do you feel it?
You don't,
like,
unless he's incomplete. He don't feel it.
I don't know. We didn't get too deep into it.
Well, it's just complete or incomplete. I always ask when I run into homies in chairs, I'd be like, "What up, bro? What's your level?" Right out the gate.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, T8. And I'm like, okay, I'm a T3. So I'm already more fucked than you.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's like this, bro. All quadriplegics want to be paraplegics. All paraplegics want to be amputees. And amputees just want their fucking legs back. You know what I mean? Or their limbs. So it's like, we all have levels of this shit. You know what I mean? And if you're like a quad, you're at the top. You're like, fuck, bro, I ain't even got use of my arms. Because if you're a quad, you lose use of your arms. So you'll see a lot of quads. They're like this. They don't. They're they're seized up.
Yeah, my boy Pops like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking blessed, bro. Just because I literally cut off right here, and that's right when I woke up, dude. I didn't have use of these digits really, because I was a T2, and then it went down like one vertebrae to T3. Okay. And that's what kind of allowed me to like start feeling my elbows a little bit or a lot bit, like they're normal. And boom, my fucking line dropped. They said like, you might recover. I'm like, yeah. Well, I was hoping for it for like a year. I thought if I trained my ass off, bro, I just did push, just wheelchair, just training, spent like 20 grand going to a personal trainer, did everything. And I didn't get anything.
No doubt.
I didn't lose hope. I just figured, you know what? At the end of the day, I got to just stay healthy. I got to be a good candidate if there's ever a cure. But at the end of the day, I got to just live a healthy fucking, productive life.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
I got 3 sons and a wife. And when I got shot, one of them was 19, one of them was 16, and one of them was 10. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm all done. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro, I'm in the like the prime of it, you know? And that was it. I just had to fucking man up, if you will, because it was like I could have fucking just said fuck it so many times, bro, and just been done with it.
Of course.
But
of course.
Killing yourself or suicide just really is not a good option. You know what I mean? It's like it's a temporary or a permanent solution rather to like a temporary problem, because we go up and down.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have any problems, your emotions can go up and down. You have highs and lows, and it's like, it's just amplified when you have like a crazy, like lifelong injury that you're like, oh, fuck this the rest of my life. Like
have
literally.
You ever gotten to that state, a suicidal state? Like, you had the thoughts?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I had this shit all planned out. You know what I mean? But like, I couldn't.
What saved you? What stopped you, bro?
Just the fact that, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to my family. I mean, that's the hardest part, bro, is like to leave a family with those questions.
It does a lot of damage, bro.
You know what I mean?
I've experienced that a couple times.
Yeah, it's like I've had some friends take their lives, and it's so fucked.
Bro, he took his life.
R.I.P., brother.
Yeah, man, it's fucked.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that shit was gonna come and go. You know what I'm saying? Those emotions.
Yeah.
And it sucks because those emotions end up getting the best of you in that moment.
Yeah, and it's such a compulsive act.
It is.
And he had a gun on him when this happened. So it's like, I did a lot of studying on that.
It's crazy.
The compulsive aspect of suicide. And if you have a firearm on you, your chances of doing it are way more fucking more, like way more. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I got firearms. I could just never do it that way either. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I had thought it out and plotted it out, it would have had to do with my injury and just the fact that, I couldn't save myself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I was thinking insurance policies, I was thinking family, I was thinking me being better off passed away than a drag on the whole, you know, crew, if you will.
Yeah.
And I just kind of was like done. I was like just done. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna look like an accident, you know?
Yeah.
Because with us, it could completely be, you know, ruled kind of, you know, accidental or suicidal. But like, if you leave enough, you know, gray area there, and I actually hit my insurance agent up and fucking asked him straight up, like, hey, bro, if the $1 million policy I have, they find me OD'd in a bathtub, do my family still get the premium? Or, you know, do they still get the payout? He's like, yes. And I'd be worried if you told me that was, you know, something you were thinking of. And I said, it's all good, Rich, because he's been one of my insurance guys for like probably fucking 25, 30 years.
Sure. Wow.
And I just wanted to have clarification on the fact that if I did, you know, kind of go out like that, was it covered? And he's like, absolutely, but let's talk about why you would want to know that. I'm like, I just want to know. Don't trip, Rich. It's all good. I ain't killing myself in a bathtub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, Sean, well, make sure, you know, and he's a good dude, you know? Except for the fact that, fuck, bro, I was insured up to my gills if I died, but I had no like disability insurance.
No shit.
No insurance that if I was like altered for the rest of my life, I would have some type of coverage. And I was like, damn, bro, so you're telling me I got nothing, but if I died, I had something? He's like, I'm sorry, Sean, but that's the way it looks. And I'm like, that's fucking lame. You know, it just makes you think about the fact that, you know, when you should be thinking about these things, you're not thinking about them.
Of course.
You know, because when I was setting up a lot of those policies in my early 30s, I was like, bro, I'm fucking killing it. I'm hella healthy. I'm super, you know, aware of like where I'm at diet wise, health wise, fitness wise, you know, longevity, everything. I'm dialed. I didn't think about disability insurance, but it would have cost like pennies, bro. And I would have been covered in a sense of like, okay, Sean, you can get non-taxable 10 grand a month for the rest of your life. You know, that would have covered some bills, you know, that would have covered some aspects of being injured, you know, and having multiple properties and a family to take care of and being the only breadwinner in the family. Cause, you know, my wife's always been a stay-at-home mom, which is amazing, but you know, it puts a lot of pressure on the other earner. Yeah. You know, if you don't have two earners in the house, you got a lot more to cover. Absolutely. If any of you guys have kids and be married, you know, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's nice to have two earners in the house. Not that, you know, that offsets, you know, one parent not being around available 24/7, because that's the trade-off. You know what I mean?
That is the trade-off.
You know, and I was always like, hey, look, you know, if you want to do that, I'd be blessed to have it. Because, you know, having a mom, bro, at the house all the time, ready to handle business. Dude, I've seen kids, you know, I've watched, I got a 33-year-old son and almost a 30-year-old son, and now almost, you know, going on 24. So it's like, I've seen all their homies grow up throughout their lives, and all the kids that I used to coach, this, that, the other. And I've seen them, you know, from grade school all the way through college.
Yeah, isn't that
it's a trip. Yeah, you know what I mean? Shit, Adam's one of them. I mean, I didn't know him when he was in high school and shit, because they didn't meet until, you know, Cal Poly. But it's like, bro, these youngsters that are grown-ass men now, it's like, you know, I've known them for decades.
Fun fact. He knows Adam from Proper Doinks. Tell the people how you know Adam from Proper Doinks.
Well, dude, the funny thing about that story is Adam roommated with my son down at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. So I met Adam when he moved down there from Fairfield and was like, you know, doing the college thing, wrestling, doing some, you know, independent fights and shit. And then I ran into Adam for years, and then we kind of, you know, we would just run in at grows or dropping off work. And then I didn't run into Adam again until I ran into him at your Good Pizza
Good
podcast.
Pizza party.
Yeah. And it was like, what was this, 21 or 22?
It was 24, February 24.
Damn.
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
A lot has happened. A lot has happened.
2
since
years
then.
for sure seems like fucking 20 years right now.
It's 20 years in the weed game.
Yeah, yeah.
At the age of 20.
So we run into each other at that party right here in Sac, and Adam, and it was killer because I hadn't seen Adam for maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. And he's like, "Hey, what up, Sean? I wanted to fucking, it's so good to see you." And I'm like, "Bro, likewise. What's up, man? How you been?" And I'd been seeing his, little rise on, being kind of like the connoisseur of the game. And I'm like, damn, check the youngster out,
Yeah, no doubt.
And then he comes up to me and he goes, "Bro, I wanted to tell you a little story." And I'm like, "What's up?" I'm hoping it's all good and shit. It was kind of funny. And he's all, "Bro, Ryan fronted me my first pound in college that I ever moved, like large weight, like." And he's like, "I wanted to thank you because I know you fronted that shit to Ryan." And I'm like, "Oh,
That's
shit,
crazy.
what a crazy fucking story." I told Ryan about that when I got back home.
Wow.
And he was like, "That's fucking classic." He didn't even know that shit,
And you know what? We have the guy on our show right now that fronted Adam his first pack. Put Adam in the game, arguably.
There you go. Put Adam on game. Well, Ryan probably gave him a bunch of game that I gave Ryan.
Yeah, no
so it's
doubt.
kind of passed down through generations.
That's fucking cool, man. Jersey, what up? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, everybody's been asking me, where can I get the slices in Jersey? Look no further. Peep the list. Check it out. It's right here. Pull up. Grab you a slice. Thank you for the support, Jersey. Peace, love, good pizza. We'll see y'all out there.
But it is a small ass world, dude.
It is.
So funny to like have a crazy story like that in a state of 40 million people.
Yeah, right.
And just so
What are the
many
odds?
college campuses and so many different people kind of getting in and out of our space. And for homie to be like, still going strong, especially with the crew, because shit, he started selling for Connected, I think.
Yep.
That was a good move too, because obviously they trained up and worked with some of the best in the game.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So it was kind of funny, it's like just crazy interlinking stories from people all over this state and all over the country and all over the world. I mean, it's funny, dude. The trimmigrants that I've had at my farms are just known through trim companies and just, running fucking the game. It's killer. Crazy. Super
man,
fun.
it's crazy, man. It's full circle, man. So I think this is a great part to
these gelonades.
first of all, welcome you on the show. Welcome. Thank you for coming
JP.
through.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, and who do we have here? Who's
This is Bailey, bro. This
Bailey.
is my partner in crime.
So we got Sean and Bailey from Murphy's Ridge coming in hot, man. Honored to have you. We've been trying to do this for a long time. And I'm glad we finally put it together, man. You and I met at one of Bert's establishments. Shout out to Bert.
Yes.
And the
Shout
premier
out to
group.
Bert.
Big Bert and his premier group. We were at Blue Fire.
Blue Fire and Merced.
Doing a demo. I came in doing a demo when not long after Good Pizza was started, and I seen Murphy's Ridge, and I'm like, well, that caught my eye. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a Murphy, and this guy was cool as hell, man. He's like, gave me all the rundown. On, hey, man, check this out, bro. You can't be doing this shit in here. Give the bud tenders this shit outside. Bert don't like that shit. Don't, you know what I mean? Gave me the rundown on Blue Fire, what the do's and don'ts. I'm like, rightio, brother. Copy that. And we've been cool ever since, man. We bumping each other here and there. Last seen you at the network show.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized I didn't call this guy back. I felt terrible. I was like, I hit you right. You're like, nah, you didn't. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, let's do this right now, bro. Right fucking now. Here's the dates. Lock something in. And I'm glad we fucking did it, man. So
That's
welcome.
funny.
Welcome to the
I
show.
appreciate that, and I'm honored, bro. Thank you so much for having me
man.
on, man.
So-
Especially,
yeah, good to have you, man.
showing the love too, because
Yeah.
that's been one of the things that I've kind of battled against, really trying to get out there. As you're trying to build a brand in the recreational market and getting in the stores, talking to the bud tenders, talking to the customers, it's hard to do that and to be out here trying to run around the podcast scene or the magazines, any kind of way to get your brand out there more.
Hell yeah.
It's a delicate balance, because if you spend all your time trying to run around in this world, you're not actually focusing on the prize, which is talking to the customers, talking to the bud tenders, talking to the stores, being in there actually working like the day we met. You know, like honestly, bro,
Yeah.
it's like watching
Two
paint
owners
dry.
meeting,
Yeah.
working.
But
their
you
brands.
got to be in the stores.
Yeah, dude.
Brand ambassadors, bro, are the key to the
yeah.
connection between the customers. And I'm my brand ambassador because why the fuck, you know, while I'm building, would I hire somebody that don't have, you know, 20, 30, 40 years game in this industry that they're trying to connect with customers on? You know, so it's like,
For sure.
it's a delicate kind of balance. You want to hire people to do work for you so you can go try to spend time in, you know, better, you know, ways to build your brand. But unfortunately, you won't have a brand if you're not in the stores kind of trying to win the customer support and earn their, you know, earn the opportunity to try to, you know, get their support.
Definitely.
So it's a weird balance. You know, I'm sure we'll talk a bunch about the industry and where it's at.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
that's one of the key things that I really enjoy doing. But it also takes me away from trying to get out there and build the brand on these types of, you know, big platforms where you get to like actually do some audio, video. Everybody gets to see who you are, what you're about. I get to do that in the stores, but that's, you know, usually one-on-one with one or two customers.
Sure, and that's a one-time experience where this is documented or live on
100%,
all the platforms,
yeah.
and you could point traffic to like, yo, check out my episode, bro. Hear the whole story. You know what I mean? They could really get to connect with you. You know what I'm saying?
Stoked on that. Looking forward
man,
to
so
that.
I'm stoked on hearing your story, man. You know, salute to the OGs in the game like you, man, that paved the way for guys like us. You're a generation ahead of me, and I'm stoked to hear your story, man. So where did it all start, Sean? Bring us back, brother.
Damn,
where you
bring it
from?
back. Let's bring it back. So for the cannabis, you know, kind of involvement, it started back in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, so I was born in 75, just hit the big 50 this year.
Salute.
Thank you, my friend. It was a big birthday for me, you know, especially with my midlife crisis, if you will. So hitting 50 was a big deal.
Hit
it was
mine
like,
early. Hit mine this year.
Yeah. I just was like, you know, man, this is awesome. But no, I grew up in Fremont, California, kind of a little south of Oakland, kind of around the Hayward area. My mom was a waitress at Denny's. So she kind of worked in Emeryville, Oakland, Hagenberger, San Leandro, San Jose. You know, we kind of ran around that whole area.
Okay.
The 80s in the Bay Area was just amazing for the weed game. It was mostly just all either, you know, the skunk bud, killer skunk bud, the kind bud, or the, you know, the green bud. It was kind of funny. Those were the names, other than like the Sensimilla, the Panama Red, the Thai, the peach Thai, the chocolate Thai. But my family was in the weed game. So my parents sold weed. I'm the youngest of 5, so all my older brothers were kind of either in the weed game or in worse, you know. I kind of grew up in a very interesting scene. Weed was kind of like, you know, the normal drug, if you will.
Got you.
You know, that was the drug that was like
whatever.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, it was, you know, it was all Bob Marley shit. You know, all weed. It was natural. You know, I kind of grew up in a lot of mischief, so I seen a lot of coke, a lot of meth. Before it was even meth, it was crank. You know, I had a lot of family that was losing their lives to that shit, doing a lot of time in the penitentiary, going to jail, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I grew up. But I kind of started pinching weed off of some of my dad's pounds of weed. Now, my parents never even smoked weed. That was the funny thing about it.
No shit, they're just about that money.
Yeah, pretty much squares. Yeah, pretty much squares, but just allowed the nonsense to kind of exist in our environment. That's the thing, because, you know, I'm a parent now. So it's like, you know, both my parents are passed. I lost my dad in the 90s and I lost my mom in 2018. And she was with me on the grind, bro, all the way up to the very end. I'm talking about, you know, just straight trapper. I mean, my mom was the shit, bro. We called her the saw because she was just mad at the trimming, dude. Just crushing pounds per day, you know, just no worries. And, yeah, that's it. So, you know, I kind of came in the weed game in the 80s, been around it ever since. I did an enlistment in the military from 92 to 96.
Okay.
And that was pretty,
services.
Yeah, God bless. I wouldn't have ever changed it. I mean, it was huge. What's that?
Gulf War days?
No, Gulf War was kind of right when I went in. So it was 92 to 96. It was pretty dry years. Clinton was the president. I was stationed in San Diego, then stationed with some Marines in Orange County. I was a parachute rigger.
What branch were you?
Navy.
Navy.
So I was a parachute rigger in the Navy, but the Navy and the Marine Corps do a lot of joint commands.
Okay.
So it was kind of just a big, to be honest with you, man, joining the military for me was a way out of my situation. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to go join the military and do my thing and do my service. I always loved all the military movies growing up, but nobody in my family had served. My family was just, there was a lot of nonsense going on, bro. You know what I mean? Like crazy jack move shit, you know, people, you know, literally like, my family was very fluid. You know what I mean? Like one day they can be renting a house here. The next day they could be moving to a whole nother town. You know, kind of no, you know.
Wasn't a very stable upbringing, it doesn't sound like.
No.
Gotcha.
No. I mean, I love my life and my experience. It made me who I am today. But, you know, I wouldn't exactly put it as like, you know, stable or normal at all. I mean, I don't know if any family's really normal anymore in the sense of like, you know, leave it to Beaver kind of shit.
Right.
But, or, you know, like the Brady Bunch. I don't really know if that really exists. Because every family, even, you know, the fakest facade, you know, the country club, they go through shit. You know what I mean? It's just different shit than ghetto people go through because, you know, money resolves a lot of problems. Yeah. And when you ain't got no money, you know, you don't have many solutions to all of your problems.
That's a fact.
You know, you think that all your problems will be resolved with, you know, some windfall of money, but really if you don't have any management skills and you don't have any discipline, that shit'll come and go. You know, I watch many of people get like $50,000 settlements, bro, from insurance cases and shit, and just blow that shit all on coke and drugs and just crazy life real quick. And then fuck, if 6 months later they're broke again, you're like, damn, bro, you just had like a, you know, crazy settlement. Now you're broke. And that's just, you know, that's how it goes down. You know, a lot of people that don't have, you know, a lot of skills in managing any kind of like windfall of money. You know, you get everybody in their mother's brother kind of hitting you up, being like, "Oh, bro, remember that one time?" And that's just how it goes down.
Oh yeah, seen that movie before.
I kind of rambled on, bro, about my entrance into the the weed game,
that's
but
real shit, bro.
Yeah. You know, honestly, it was about like 6th grade, bro. I smoked some weed. This was right before summer. I don't even ever remember the first time I smoked because it was like so far back. I remember the first times like I smoked, but not the exact first time.
Okay.
But I got high with one of my best friends, Rudy Villa. Shout out to Rudy out there in Irvington.
Irvington, New Jersey?
Irvington district.
I'm about to say he's in the hood.
Nah, that was the hood, but it was down in Irvington, in Fremont.
Okay, got you.
We smoked some weed, and I was so fucking stoked, man. Just everything kind of lined up in my mind.
Nice, dude.
I kind of started seeing like everything from basketball to, you know, I just started seeing everything, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna wait till the end of the school year, and then this summer it's on.
Okay.
And that's when so 6th grade summer, bro, I was in it to win it. Started selling dime bags, you know, because my dad would sell a lot of weed. He would be copping pounds of weed, and I had a bunch of little homies that would be, you know, not really kind of like my dad's customers, if you will.
Sure.
And I started pinching little fucking quarters, little zips here and there.
Okay, so you selling stolen weed from Pops.
I was selling stolen weed from Pops, bro, making like
$100,
$200 a day, just killing it, feeling like, oh my God, I'm on the rise.
Dog, in the 80s, that was big bread, son.
And then this was about 89. So 88.
Lit, bro.
Yeah, 88, 89. The house gets raided. And this was pretty much kind of my house that I grew up in, but not really, because we grew up in LA till I was about 5 or 6. Then we moved up to Fremont.
Okay.
And it was a trip, bro, because I was down in Santa Cruz. I was about 12, maybe 13, but I think I was about 12. I was down in Santa Cruz with my brother-in-law, a bunch of my brothers, a bunch of friends, and I had fucking just did a big rail of fucking crank, man. Just down at the boardwalk, dude. End of the day, just a big old rail of fucking it wasn't even called meth back then. It was called crank, bro. Yeah. And so anyway, we pull up, we get back to Fremont from Santa Cruz, which is about 40-minute drive or so.
Okay.
One of my brothers was living over at my sister's house because he had gotten into an argument with my parents about going too hard or some shit. We were hot as fuck, like, you know, just too many people coming over to the crib. And so anyway, we drop him off over at my sister's house, which is about a few blocks away. We pull up to my house, and I'm about to jump out of the rig when I realized, oh, fuck. But I'd already stepped out. I'd already jumped out. And there was a van at my house and a couple cop cars, a couple undercover cop cars. They'd raided the house.
You know what time it was?
So, yeah, I knew what time it was, but it was like, hey, what's up? Cops are already approaching me, bro. And they're like, hey, are you Sean Ryan? I'm like, yeah, what's up? They're all like, oh, everything's going to be okay. Everything's all right. And I'm like, what the fuck? And this dude was an undercover narc. You know, he had a T-shirt on, had a bad, looked like Miami Vice, bro, straight up. Yeah. This was the 80s, so this dude had the big mustache. And he had like a hot tuna T-shirt. A lot of the youngsters, but there was a company out of Hawaii that had these like hot tuna shirts, bro. And they'd have like a fish on there.
Okay.
And it was always either like neon green or hot pink. Because that shit was like hot back in the 80s,
okay.
you know?
Yeah, I remember those
and
colors,
so this dude's got his jeans on. He's got his cop fucking like, you know, he looks just copped out. Yeah. And he's like, it's going to be okay. And I'm looking at this motherfucker like, all right, everything ain't okay if you're walking up to me saying everything's going to be okay. Bro, I already know this cop shit, you know, like I've been around the hood from like, I grew up in this shit. Like we don't talk to cops, and especially the ones that are saying it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, like just talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him and it's all sinking in. And my sister comes to the door. I have one sister and 4 brothers. And she's like, fuck you. She's screaming out the front door. You can't talk to him. He's a minor. And the cop's like, I was like 12, 13.
Oh, shit.
So, you know, like I'm the youngest. I'm the baby in the family. Yeah. And so I'm rolling up and I'm looking at this dude. And then, you know, he hears my sister yelling all this shit. And he had to kind of let me go. And I was like, so I went in the house. And the cops were wrapping up their whole investigation. They had been there for fucking like 6 hours, apparently.
Oh, shit.
And so they had gotten people that walked up, you know, trying to grab a dime, you know, asking for my dad. Yeah, I just was told to come over here. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll take care of you. And then, boom, they're busting them. And so they had a bunch of shit. But what they got was like maybe a QP in like seeds and stems, because my dad was like religious on like cleaning up the brickweed. That's what like separated his market from like people that were just selling brickweed. And it was funny because he would fluff up the brickweed, de-seed it, de-stem it, and do it all right there in the dining room or the kitchen, exactly, you know, and he'd clean it up. So for some reason, there was no like mass amount, which a mass amount that would have been like maybe 5 pounds.
That was big back then.
That was big back then. Yeah. So like, you know, he would have either been copping either 2 to 5 pounds normally. But he was in between copping some weed, and they raided the house and they found 30 grand in his trunk, which my mom was pissed because she didn't know anything about it. And, you know, dad was hustling. And so anyway, he'd take care of a bunch of shit, but he would normally, you know, like put a lot of it away.
Sure.
And so they got the weed, they got the money out of his trunk. They got all the debris and shit like that from inside the house. And I mean, bro, we're talking a small ass little house. Back then it was like everybody grew up in like a little 1,000 square foot, you know, 3 bedroom.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, no, nothing crazy. Like, you know, we weren't wealthy, bro, you know? And then that was when we moved. So we had to bounce out of there and move to another town because that house was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
And then we, you know, bounced out, moved to another town. A couple years later, burnt that house down, cooking crystal meth.
Oh shit!
And then that's when I bounced. I was like, "Look,
you guys
I love
were cooking meth too."
Well, I wasn't, but one of my brothers were. You know, he just got out of San Quentin. He just did about 3 years. He learned how to cook from the cook, so he thought he had the recipe, you know, for like success. Meanwhile, it was like, nah, you got the recipe to fucking burn down the house. Damn. And so that's when I bounced. That was like, not like the final straw, but I just had these 3 girls that I'd been like knowing for a few months. And they were like, you can move in with us if you want. Cause my whole family was living in a Motel 6, bro. And there's like 8 of us,
And how old were you at the time?
About 15, 16 at the most,
dog,
about 15.
Ooh, that's young to be dealing with that.
Well, that was life. And that was it,
life,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah, I went and moved in with those 3 girls. One of them became my wife. I got her pregnant a few months later.
Holy shit.
Had a kid. It's a little over 16.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and then fucking joined the military at 17. I was on a path to just try to succeed, get the fuck out of the nonsense, because the nonsense will always keep trying to pull you back in.
Yeah.
It's like, and when it's family, it's like, oh, I love you guys. Oh, what's up? And there's just always something. And so, yeah, that was kind of like the intro to the real world.
You went to the military to get away, and you know what I'm saying?
Had to bounce, bro. Had to go get my shit together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was phenomenal. It was a great experience, fun times, really opened my eyes to the world. Because that's the thing, dude, that like a lot of people, they get now more than they did back then. But like, when you grow up and your area is so small that it's like, you can never like visualize yourself going to West Point or to Harvard or doing anything like even like college, you're like, oh, we don't go to college. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nobody in my neighborhood that really ever went to college. We just go we're lucky if we graduate high school. What are you talking about? Graduating high school is like, you got the ticket. But going in the military and meeting motherfuckers from all over the country and just different walks of life, normal motherfuckers, some dudes that have been, similar upbringings of mine, but mostly just normal people, whatever normal is.
Right.
And that shit was fun. That shit was cool, and then, not making any money in the military kind of drove me to try to be like, all right, let's go. So, I started chasing money as soon as I had my DD-214 and I was ready to rock.
What's that?
That's kind of basically when you get discharged out of the military, your DD-214 is your final form.
Okay.
Of like, saying, here you go, you're honorably discharged. Boom, boom, boom.
What was the discharge about?
I was just honorably discharged. I just served my time. You know what I mean? But like, if you don't, everybody's time in service will be kind of detailed on their DD-214.
Okay.
So like, no matter what, it don't matter if you're a colonel, an admiral, a captain, or just a enlisted dude, that's going through the ranks. Your DD-214 is all the same. It states all your, service, states kind of like your dates, and then it says either honorable, other than honorable, bad conduct, gives you just one box.
So your report card.
It's basically like your report card for either 4 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And shit, I got out of the military in Orange County down in Huntington Beach and just started getting after it from that moment on, pretty much.
Nice.
That was.
So what's, you're out now, like what's the play? Like, all right, bet, let me get these packs, flip these packs.
Nah,
what
play,
year are we talking here?
96. The play was the play was to go into commercial diving. So I went to a diving college down in the LA Harbor, got a 2-year associate's degree in 12 months, and found out I was going to go to the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America, whatever, and just fucking around.
Right.
But there's only 2 places you could go break out as a diver, and that's the Gulf of Mexico or the North Sea.
Okay.
And so I had just
welding and shit like that?
Yeah, I was doing medicine, but we were certified as welders too.
Okay.
So you're either a welder, a medic, or a inspector. You know what I mean? So like you have to have like some type of skill set that gets you onto the barge or onto the dive boat or whatever you're doing. Because I was just looking for some crazy work that paid good money.
Yeah, well, diving does.
But the funny thing about it is I spent like my whole GI Bill going to this college because they're like, yeah, you'll make 75, maybe 100 grand a year right when you get out of school.
Right.
And I'm like, dope. Like that's good for me, because I really never met anybody making more than like 40 grand a year.
Right.
And so, but I'm driving a truck, tractor trailers. I'm driving trucks down in LA making like 17, 18 bucks an hour. And
not bad back then.
No, back then that was killer money. And then so I find out I'm going to go down to the Gulf of Mexico and make like $7 an hour. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to make like 80 grand, 100 grand a year? And they're like, oh, well, you work 12-hour days, sometimes 16-hour days, if you're lucky, and you do 7 days a week because you're basically out on the rigs. And I was like, that don't sound fucking that good. You know what I'm saying? I'd already been on Navy ships. I've been in barracks. I've already done that confinement type living.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play my options. And so I never even went to go do that shit.
Okay.
Because leaving California, I was stationed out in Memphis for about 6 months. And I was like, I don't know if the South is for me. You know what I mean? Like being from California, bro.
It's rough, dog.
You're like,
it's different.
This is some crazy shit.
Yeah,
like
different.
It's hot as fuck out here, humid as fuck, just hella different.
Yeah.
And then I went to New Orleans, spent a little time in Louisiana, and I was like, I'm kind of good with that,
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And so all the jobs were either, in Baton Rouge or, Shreveport. They were all like either in Texas or Louisiana. And I was like, being from California, bro, you're not trying to go backwards. So to me, it seemed like a little bit of a backwards thing. And then being a weed guy, it was like, man, I don't know if I even really want to fuck around with this shit.
Right.
And so I just decided, driving trucks, because I was smoking, all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the only thing is if you ever have an accident, you're going to get a drug test.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have random tests, but there's ways to get around random tests.
Of course.
And so, I was just chilling, man, just, living the life. And I was like, nope. And then I just eased right back into weed.
Okay.
That's when I started growing, was back in the 90s. So like the mid to late 90s. Because I had already seen like little 1-lighters and shit like that. And we had a little 4-lighter at one of my family's houses in like 91. You know what I'm saying? Like we put up some fucking Diamond Dave lights. Like this is before hydro stores existed. I mean, the Bay Area had like 2 hydro stores. There's one in Berkeley and one in San Rafael.
Okay.
And that was pretty much about it. And San Rafael was hydro grow, or hydro farm rather. And in Berkeley, there was one dude right next to the East Bay Vivarium. We called him Diamond Dave. And that was it. There wasn't really none of the Berkeley indoor grow, none of those shops even existed yet. And so like when people would be like going shopping for some hydro and shit, you'd be like going there in rental cars with dealer plates. I mean, like
Oh, I heard about all that.
You were literally just, sketched out because you thought everybody was about to come raid you right after you visited the store.
For sure.
It was just straight up. That was how paranoid everybody was. Because it was pretty much like that.
Talking about tomatoes.
Oh, yeah. You ever brought up anything about growing weed in the store, you were done. I mean, like, they'd kick you out and look at you like you're a narc for sure.
Yep.
Like, you ain't in here fucking, going to get us going on talking about growing cannabis or any marijuana. It ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? We ain't that fucking stupid.
Bro, the game was so much better back then, bro.
Well, it was definitely more value, because you were
so
doing
ways.
something, much more, taboo.
The risk reward was crazy.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to be my age now and to watch how crazy like the industry's evolved. I mean, bro, I'll be at stores talking to customers, that you would have never expected. These are, just every walk of life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's actually so much fun when I'm doing that. That's one of my favorite things about the industry is being in stores, talking to customers.
That's one cool thing about being in stores, doing demos yourself and really seeing who's walking through that door.
Oh yeah.
It fucking tripped you out,
runs the gamut. Bro. I mean, just everything.
You're going to see a blue-collar guy that just got off of work with some construction shit on. You're going to see a teacher. You're going to see a girl in yoga pants, just came from the gym. You're going to see a girl in scrubs. You're going to see some old-ass fool who's just OG and just looking for some pre-rolls. You're going to see a little-ass, a young little chick, a young little dude.
I know.
Like,
every age, every ethnicity.
Like, every
everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
The one thing that tripped me out last week, I was at a cake house store in Wildemar doing a demo, and a couple OG, some old timer this one lady comes in. She had to be in her 70s. And I'm like,
salute.
I'm like, how you doing? How you doing today, ma'am? I'm all, you ever buy any flour or shop for any, you know? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I got an interesting one
Today's
here,
your lucky
you know?
day.
I said, what are you shopping for? Edibles or, you know, and she's like, nope. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe CBD dog treats. I don't know.
Right.
So, you know, I keep, you know, just kind of probing. And and she says, no, I'm here for the concentrates. And I was like, oh no, that wasn't on my bingo card.
Damn, grandma,
you know?
you out here dabbing?
Yeah,
Let's
she's
go.
out here dabbing. And I was like, all right, you know, and she starts telling me about what rosin she likes and this and that. And I'm just like, you know, I would have never guessed that.
Right.
Like I was straight up on flour.
Yeah.
Then after that, it was edibles.
That older generation don't dab like that,
bro. I ran into two
She's a real
customers
one.
like that day in like a 3-4 hour window where it was like OG dude, like in his 60s, 70s, another dabber. I was like, bro, you guys got me today. You know, it was super sick.
Yeah. And you know, if you think about it, right? They grew up with hash, the black hash, you know what I'm saying?
Moroccan hash.
Moroccan hash, you feel me? And like, I that's got to be so dope to come back in the game. But so what's the hash scene like, man? If somebody puts you on a roster,
So
you're
crazy.
like, this tastes amazing. But yo, I sometimes get some hash, like some black hash, some old school shit.
Yeah.
It'll be gifted me from somewhere, and I know just who to give it to. Because I'm not gonna smoke that shit,
Yeah,
bro.
no.
But like, I'll give it to one of my partners or one of my friends, one of my older friends. That they're like, oh my god, where did you get this?
I remember fucking with
This
some of that
reminds
shit
me of-
way back in the day.
Fuck yeah, we used to crumble that show with blunts, bro. That's all we really
rolling
did.
like fucking straight
Yeah.
fucking cat, you know.
In
just-
my hood, bro, if you had hash, bro, you were the only one with it. Like, for probably the one guy, the one time for the year. So you could charge whatever.
Yeah, I feel like out on the East
great.
Coast, you guys might have seen a little more of it in a sense than we did because it all got
not really, bro.
I don't
If
know
you was
how it
tapped
got
in
to
New York,
Cali. You know what I mean?
You had to
'Cause
really
it was
be
coming
tapped
from
in
the
New
Middle
York.
East.
If you were tapped in right in New York, which I was not, you could get anything. Fucking anything. You know what I'm saying? New York always been like that. But like, it was so underground, bro. Like,
Yeah, bro.
nobody was,
Fuckers. They
I don't
get
know.
me.
Yeah, I mean, you're smoking infused, right?
No, that's just straight
straight up?
flour.
Okay,
yeah,
cool,
that's
cool,
a
cool.
Gelinade fucking K&F pre-roll.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Man,
I'm
just
going to take a dry pull on one of these.
go for it.
Oh, yeah, that's nice, dude.
Yeah,
That's
take
got
a
good
dry
flavor.
pull on each one of those. I think that's a 41. That's a gelato 41. I haven't even smoked one of those yet.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. These don't taste like shitty pre-rolls. Just on the dry pull.
No, that's the thing too. Try dry pulling that one. Can you tell me what strain
That's
is?
crazy. This, I don't know. This is some papaya?
Yeah, buddy. I fucking love that papaya strain right there, bro.
A lot of people don't grow it flower
Yeah,
out. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
a hash
'cause they're
strain like
washing it,
motherfucker, dude.
yeah.
And it's great in hash, too.
It is.
It's still reigns supreme, I feel like. These are nice, bro.
Yeah.
So these all come from your property? You grew
Yep,
these?
all single source. So that's kind
Hell
of
yeah.
what Murphy's Ridge is all about, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Hit me.
well, I mean, here's the thing about why Murphy's Ridge was born, bro. I seen the market changing. You know, we're wholesalers, bro. That's all we did for decades. You know, I never wanted to get down into the eighths and the ounces and the dubs and the, you know, quarters and like, hey, I'm blessed. I would do that if I had to, for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've always been on the supply side, you know, and I've always respected the levels of this shit. I respect the youngsters hustling their game, you know, like it's nothing but, you know, respect on that level. Cause I know you have to put in work, bro, to sell bags.
Bro, that's where we start, bro.
You know,
All
and
respect, all
I've
love.
done that. You know what I mean? I've been there, but you know, that was probably, you know, 30, 40 years ago almost.
Fucking 80s, this guy.
In the 80s, I was hustling like that. And in the 90s and, you know, all the way up to when I didn't have to.
No doubt.
You know, because when you're growing peas, you can't slow yourself down on moving zips or moving,
doubt, of
you know,
course.
it's just the math don't work. You know, you
Right.
only 24 hours in a day. And when you spend so many hours in your grows and, you know, you have family and stuff like that, you got to be at a level that you can't be moving a lot of smaller shit. But at the end of the day, around 2020, I was like, bro, this game is changing and it don't fucking matter who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, We got a 200-acre property up in Murphy's, California. Murphy's, California is beautiful, man. It's some God's country shit.
Where is it?
It's right above San Andreas, right above Angels Camp, below Arnold, below Bear Valley.
Damn, I know nothing about this place.
Yeah, it's a gem, bro. There's been hippies up there growing dank for fucking, since the 60s.
This is the SoCal scene.
No, it's right about an hour out of Sac. It's about an hour and a half out of Sacramento. A lot of people don't know about it because, like I said, bro,
you said San Andreas. My mind went south.
Nah, well, San Andreas is over by Angels Camp. It's over by Sonora. It's kind of in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas.
No shit.
So if anybody's ever been to like Grass Valley, or Nevada City,
yes, bro,
like,
always yesterday,
same
literally
climate,
yesterday,
same climate.
Oh fuck,
same
okay,
elevation.
Got you.
Because elevation is everything.
Yeah, about
like
2,000-3,000 feet.
About 2,000-3,000 feet is the key. So
Sweet
like
spot.
even the Emerald Triangle, the Emerald Triangle is like where 3 counties, Trinity, Mendo, and Humboldt, they all meet up, but not on the coast side, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And not on the Redding side. They're more like in the middle at an elevation. Same kind of microclimate as Grass Valley, same kind of microclimate as Murphy's. But once you start going south on the Sierra Nevadas and you start getting down into like Yosemite area or even like Merced, that's where like the climate starts changing.
Okay.
And
it gets colder and shit.
Well, it's not that it's colder. It just gets a lot more of like the low pressure systems during the summer and during the spring and the fall that kind of push a lot of those storms into that area.
Gotcha.
And what you want, in a good microclimate is you want decent highs, but not like the valley highs, not like Sacramento.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't want it to be triple digits. You want it to be like maybe 90s or 100.
Yep.
And then you want the, lows to be like in the 60s.
Yep.
Maybe the high 50s. But you need that big temperature differential to like have that good optimal kind of microclimate for cultivation. And if you're growing in Modesto or if you're growing in Sac or if you're in a fucking indoor setup or a straight up state of the art greenhouse setup, you're good to go. You just battle off all those environmental factors. But we're greenhouses, but we're also full sun. So we have a half acre of greenhouse. So that's small batch, bro. Half acre, 22,000 square feet. I'm competing against the Budweiser farms that are like, oh yeah, we got 15 acres. We got 40 acres. We got, our smallest grow is a 5 acre. You know what I mean? So, and then our outdoor is 1 acre. So we got 1 acre of 40, 1 acre full sun and a half acre of light depth. But that's Murphy's Ridge in a nutshell, bro. It's all small batch, single source. And we are the brand. So we don't buy anybody else's weed and put it in our bags. Everything I know, I can QA it. I can give you the quality assurance that I know that when you smoke a joint of my weed or buy an eighth of my flower, it's going to hit. It's going to hit you proper. It's going to get you lit. And you're going to be like, cool, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I wanted. I just didn't want to be, kind of promised one thing and sold a different.
No doubt.
That's the biggest thing about, being in the space now, is like you need to make sure that you're a quality driven, price kind of driven guy.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? If you're in the space, you got to be like, hey, I want to deliver you good quality flower or good quality product for a fair price. That's it.
That's the game. Especially if you're playing the flower game.
Well, we definitely do some concentrates, but on my concentrates, bro, I usually blow through them so fast I can't get them into all my retail partners.
Gotcha.
So mostly whenever we do like small batch runs of our concentrates, shout out to Bert. We'll run them all through his stores.
Okay, Bert gets them.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Because I sell them really at a super fair price. So like
so
when they
Bert.
come, that's what I'm saying. In alignment, that's another thing in the retail game is I've really kind of tried to aim towards only working with retail partners that treat the customer the right way.
Yeah.
If you're one of those retail, folks out there that are kind of gouging, I don't really even have much interest in working with you. I'm probably not in your store anyway.
Sure.
Because being a small single batch store, or rather a small single source, small batch farm and brand, the only way that I can service, 60, 80 stores good is by focusing on those 60, 80 stores. Trying to be in 300 stores and sourcing all kinds of Bammer from anywhere you can and, keeping those 300 stores filled, but you're not trying to actually deliver them the quality and you don't care who you work with. I don't know if that's, somebody's winning, blueprint, if you will, but that's not mine. Mine's been very selective. I've tried to select.
And that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Bro.
Well,
come on.
I'm kind of blessed, I'm very thankful for the fact of like knowing some of the really good operators in the state and in our retail, space, and just knowing how, who they are. They know who I am. So it's like, all right, let's make sure that, we're being a value add to each other.
No
you
doubt.
know what I mean? Because if a customer wants to support a small veteran-owned, OG-grown, single source, small batch operator,
The story doesn't get any better.
yeah, boom, I'm your guy. If you don't even support me, bro, when it comes to customers, all I ever ask is that you try to seek out a small farm and support them so they can stay in the game. Because
Hell yeah. Because that's what paved the way for everything.
Well, that's what's
that you're
paved
looking
the
at
way,
here.
100%.
Yeah,
But if
man.
the customers don't know who they're buying, they might be supporting a multinational canna corporate, type takeover company that don't even have anything to do with the space, but they really want to try to just get us all out of the way. And then that way they can just dominate the market and it's a consolidation that we're witnessing right before our eyes. That's the trippiest thing about this game. It's like, I've watched over the decades, and we haven't even gotten into like some of the fun opportunities that I've had because of the position that I've been in, have it be the injury, the gunshot wound, or just the fact that, being blessed to be a good friend of Caleb's. So, Caleb and I have known each other for 25 plus years.
Connected, Caleb?
Yeah, Caleb counts. I mean, I've known him since he went to Chico State.
Oh, shit.
And so, he used to move packs for the homies.
Oh, shit.
So, we were his plug.
What?
And then back in 2000,
fire.
and then about 2007, Caleb's like, bro, I'm going to open a dispensary. I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me. You got to lose my shit, bro. Like, you got to lose my number, bro. You're going to get us all busted.
Oh, shit. No
and
way.
Then, oh, yeah. And then about I think it was 08, 09, he's like, hey, bro, I've looked at everybody's grows because he moved not all my shit, but he would be blessed to have some of the packs that I'd be moving. Yeah. And so throughout those years, he's like, I want to build a grow. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, I want you to be my partner. And I'm like, all right. And now I'm taking him on because he's not a grower. He's just a mover. Yeah. He's a broker. He's a hustler.
No doubt.
He just opened the store on Fruit Ridge. It was called fucking Fruit Ridge Health and Wellness. Yep. This is like 07, 08 time frame. And then we built out our first commercial grow because I was more of a trap star. I was more of like a house guy, 40 lights, try to get little McMansions wherever I can. Yeah. And then just blow them out.
Yeah.
Full on build out like professional, but inside.
Sure.
So Caleb was like checking out everybody like in our circles. He checked out everybody's grow. And then he's like, hey, I want to build a grow with you. And I'm like, bro, thank you, brother. I've always, respected your grind and your hustle, and you want to build a grow together? Let's do it. So we built out a 50 lighter in a warehouse right across the street from the dispensary. And it was funny because, we both learned a lot with that grow. Yeah. Cause that was his first indoor grow ever. And it was one of my first commercial grows with a homie.
No shit.
And
man.
So we built that fucker out. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty much the rest is kind of history. But
let me ask you a question
Go
real
ahead.
quick, not to cut you.
No,
but is
let's
this the same grow that when he got the information from his lawyer, like, yo, you need to shut everything down right fucking
no,
now?
that was the one he built right after.
Right after, got it.
Because
Continue.
the one him and I built got
Okay.
raided.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, tell me that.
Oh,
I cut you off too soon.
No, it's all good. The stories go on for fucking.
Because you have a lot of connective tissue with a lot of people I know, and I'm like, oh,
I'm still
shit,
till
this
this
is
day.
crazy,
I'm an
bro.
owner and connected in Alien. So
No way, really?
Yeah, I'm a shareholder.
You got a piece of that?
I got a piece, baby.
Nice. You want to sell me a couple shares? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. That's fucking
We can
cool,
talk
man.
off air. No,
doubt.
but no, I'm good. I mean, in a sense,
Fucking
because
awesome,
I want my
man.
boys to be successful.
Yeah.
Ted didn't come on board till 2018, so I
remember.
didn't. I
met
didn't
Ted
meet,
at this time.
Yeah, I didn't meet Ted till many years after, like the 07, 08, little journey. And then, so I got my gunshot wound at one of my indoor grows in 2011. So
Okay, let's walk us through that. Like, kind of like
walk
what was
us
happening?
through. I love that.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No, I love the
Let's
pun,
cruise
baby.
through.
Let's roll through.
Let's roll
No, I
through.
love that. Fuck that. Walk through.
So
No.
like real quick before you tell the story, like tell me like you like how deep you are in the game at this time. Like what you on, what are you doing, what are you moving?
Like I said, growing up
Pack
in the
flipping.
game, and then pack flipping,
Pack flipping.
moving. I'm probably back in those days. Growing 50 to 100 pounds a month was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
that
hell
was
yeah.
like
balling.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it, but you
Yeah.
know, it was the good old days before the good old days of some people that, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like so many eras of this
Word,
industry.
yeah.
Because I'm in the industry right now in 2025,
Yeah,
building a
God bless.
brand, with some of the best retail partners in California.
For sure.
Blessed to sit here with you.
Hell yeah.
I
Likewise,
mean,
man.
and this is crazy. It's just
Yeah.
hilarious. But no, so like him and I's first commercial grow was on Fruit Ridge.
Okay.
And then, we had a lot of growing pains there. We went through even some personal shit. You know what I mean? Because look, dude, Caleb and I are both alphas. Okay.
doubt.
We run shit.
For sure.
I've settled down in a lot of my, alphaness because getting shot and paralyzed and being in a wheelchair will humble your ass.
Yeah.
Not because I was a dick before, because I never have been. I've always been a very thankful, grateful friend. And when I have friends, bro, we have them friendships for decades. You know what I'm saying?
You seem like a solid dude.
Yeah. Well,
I can
bro,
see that just by
I'm a
knowing
man
you.
of my word. So when
Yeah.
I give you my word, I'm there. Even if
Okay.
I have to pay debts for it for years. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you learn shit by going through it. But anyway, I'd already been through tons of grows, tons of partnerships. When Caleb and I got together and built out that grow, he needed my wisdom and my grow experience, but he also needed some of my money. And so I'm running the grow and Caleb's learning everything. Okay. But Caleb's a very fast learner. Okay. And so he's also got his spin because at the end of the day, this happens to every dual sets of operators. Okay. I'm running the grow. I'm coming back after telling all the boys how to do their things, and then I'm bouncing. I got other grows to manage, my grows. Sure. This is a partnership grow where I'm teaching Caleb how to do everything, and we're teaching the team, okay?
Sure.
Well, months are going by. I keep coming into the grow, and I'm like fucking checking out crazy little shit. And to be a good grower, you have to be very attention to detail oriented type of person. You have to be almost maniacal. You know what I'm saying? You have to be so, anal about where everything is, how it runs, or else shit don't go right.
Yeah.
And worse than that, you can have fires, you can have shit that'll put you, away, let alone you're not going to be a successful grower.
Yeah.
Now you're dealing with other shit.
Sure.
So I'm very militant, very disciplined. So I would show up and I'd be like, hey, why are those air stones not in the reservoir, or why is this that, or why is that? And the crew, because they're all good ass, homies, they're like, oh, Sean, and they wouldn't look me in the eye and shit. They didn't want to rat out Caleb for telling them to do something that I, directly told them not to do.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm looking at him and I can read between the lines, bro, because, I'm a fucking, so I go, it's all good, bro. Caleb told you to do that, and I'll take care of that. And you didn't fucking throw anybody under the bus, bro. It's all good. Okay. We love you. And so boom, I bounce out, I go across the street. I'm like, Caleb, we got to talk. He's like, what's up? I'm like, hey bro, this is how it's going to work. Okay. There's only one person that runs the grow. This is something between him and I, not between me and the help, which the help, Hunter was one of them. He had just left construction, bro, to come into the weed game. He didn't even know the difference between 5 mils and 500 mils.
No doubt.
Nobody knew anything about how to grow weed. And so anyway, I tell Caleb, and I love Caleb, bro, and we're still good friends till this day.
Yeah.
I said, hey, bro, this is why one person can only be in charge. Because when the fucking crops come down and there has to be accountability for why the shit either did or didn't finish the way we wanted it to, who the fuck's going to take accountability? Is it going to be you that never has any crops under your belt? Or me, because I'm the guy that's supposed to be running the spot and you're going to be pointing your finger at me going, why did shit go wrong?
Right.
Well, you can't do this at week 2, this at week 1. You can't do this at week 5. This shit just can't happen.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You have to, I'm a little,
meticulous.
I'm very meticulous about shit because I think it's important because
Yeah.
it's not the little things, it's not the big things rather once or twice here and there. It's the little things over a crop cycle that fuck shit up.
Yep.
And if you're not treating everything like you would do it right, then you shouldn't be fucking with anything.
Sure.
And so me and Caleb had it out. We talked about it. We worked it out. And basically, what I told him over the coming weeks was like, hey, bro, check it out. Because I already knew how these stories finished, okay? Because I've seen it and I've had it just happen within the circles of all the homies that are doing, 50 lighters, 20 lighters, 100 lighters. And this is all, way back in the day when 100 lights now would be, 1,000 lights.
Yeah.
It's just different
No
variable, different scale. I said, look, check it out, brother. I love you. I really appreciate our friendship and respect it. Why don't I just tell you guys how to do everything you need to do? You cash me out of the grow and you run it. Because I already know you, bro. I've known you for years.
Yeah.
You're not going to be second, fiddle to anybody.
Right.
You're just naturally the leader. So why don't you just go ahead and handle it? You could pay me back in increments. It don't even matter. I don't need all my cash today because a lot of relationships in this game are crazy, and people demand crazy shit.
There's a lot on the line.
A lot of people have egos and they're all like, "You're fucking flexing on me. You're disrespecting." No. It was all gravy, baby.
Sounds like you delivered that message pretty professionally.
Oh, 100%, always, And so anyway, I said, and Caleb was like, you sure, bro? You don't want a percentage? I'm like, nah, it don't even matter. I got plenty of shit going on. You're trying to build up. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. I'm not that dude. Yeah. Pay me out whenever. And he's like, bro, you sure? I'm like, bro, I'm ready for 3 a.m. fucking phone calls or 3 p.m, bro. I'll be there in a heartbeat to make sure we mitigate whatever the problem is. And so he cashes me out with whatever he could right then and there. Because he was like, he knew this was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have your dude come in that knows how to do everything, builds the place out for you. And now he's going to walk out without even tripping on harvest or anything, but he'll fucking consult for free.
Yeah.
And, that's just how I am, bro, especially for a homie,
Sure,
and I'd already known Caleb for close to more than 7 years or more at this time. And so, boom, that shit happens. He's successful. Everything's going its way. The next warehouse, there was some crazy shit that happened. He still had Fruit Ridge Health and Wellness. That turned into collective efforts.
Yep,
Collective efforts turned into cookies. Cookies turned into connected.
Cookies connected. And then
you know what I'm saying? So 2011, I get my gunshot wound. I'm in ICU, bro. Actually, it was like nobody even knew if I was going to live and shit. It was a crazy...
Hold on right there. I want to hear walk me through you don't have to if it's too much trauma.
I'll walk you through. It's not.
But before we do that, let's take a quick break. What's up, guys? It's your boy JP Good Pizza. Just taking a quick second to shout out my sponsors over at Grove Bags. Listen, it's an exclusive proprietary bag, and here's why we love them. Let's talk terpene preservation. This is the best environment for storing your cannabis. It keeps your cannabis at 58 to 62% humidity at all times. It's like your cannabis is living in San Diego year-round with the best weather. Terpene and flavor longevity. That's important. It inhibits microbial growth. No mold, Kujin. Let's talk light protection. UV rays and good pizza don't mix. It also increases shelf life. Guys, if you have your flower in a dispensary, please use Grove bags. We all know that stuff sits sometimes. This is going to be your saving grace for flower that sits on that shelf longer than it should. Don't mess around with the pizza. Use promo code GOODPIZZA with TreeZ's. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. We'll see y'all back on the show.
So I was going from the 2007 timeframe to about 2011 when I got paralyzed. When I got shot at one of my grows.
Yeah, so what happened there?
2011, I go, I got a 40 lighter. I'm basically just spreading out about 800 plants, just flipping 20 lights of it. So I would pretty much be pulling down 20 lights at that spot once a month. So anyway, I show up at my grow and I'm about to, do some late work. It's a Sunday. Just coached one of my son's travel ball teams, on a Sunday baseball game. And
Dad shit.
Yeah, doing dad shit and then going to fucking, do the trap shit. So I'm smashing out to the grow, get there, do my thing. Takes me about 6-7 hours to do everything I need to do. So I got there about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Whereabouts?
In the Central Valley.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, out by like Patterson.
Okay.
Kind of in the West Valley. I'm like about an hour from Modesto. But I had a few different, I'm from the Bay, but I had a few different spots kind of sprinkled around NorCal. And so I get kind of a boom, power surge. I'm like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, a couple seconds later, I hear a boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, damn, dude, I'm getting raided right now. I'm thinking in my head.
Sure.
Because all this happens rather quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting raided. Boom, I got to get down to that fucking door so that way they just don't break everything. I might as well, I own the spot. I can't just run out, some side door.
Got you.
There's no getting away from this. I'm the fucking man here.
Sure. Sure.
My rig is in the garage, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah, you're about to eat it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm running down towards the fucking front door of this spot where, bam, all of a sudden it dawns on me, these motherfuckers aren't yelling police. And so right then, and I'm telling, like, the whole like interaction was like, maybe 10 seconds, but I'm talking about like the first 5 seconds of this. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Boom, I get down there. It dawns on me that I don't hear police. I've been in raids before. They yell it loud and proud.
Yeah.
Boom, I'm thinking this door is not going to handle this much longer. Right at that moment, the door burst open. And few shots come off.
Right off the rip.
I see maybe like 3 or 4 silhouettes, but because there's no power at this moment. But there's one dude on a knee. All happened really fast, obviously, like everything happens really fast. But boom, I got blasted. One of the bullets ripped right through my chest and then went out my back. And so it hit my spinal cord on its way through. Ooh. And it kind of hit me at an angle to where it hit one of my lobes in my lung and, punctured, a lung and then went out my back. I was paralyzed immediately.
Holy
I
shit.
fell like, bro, if I drop this bottle of fucking water, boom, like gravity just will bring that shit down.
Yeah.
I dropped like a sack of potatoes, bro, and didn't know it, obviously, that I was paralyzed, but they all ran, bounced. I tried to crawl out towards the like front of this spot so I can close the door and just be like, nothing to see here. It's all good. Maybe I might even like recover and be able to put this all together and, because I'm always a solution, like problem solver. I'm an optimist. So like when something goes bad, I'm like, all right, it could have been worse. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so right when that happens, I start kind of putting shit together, obviously not walking around or anything like that.
Sure.
There's 40 lights going on at this spot. It's all completely trapped out. It's not fucking legal and then basically I army crawled out and passed out. I don't know. I don't remember anything. I woke up about 6 weeks later. So like
no shit.
from that moment to waking up from the coma in ICU on a ventilator, ventilated. I had a tracheotomy, where they put a breathing tube in your throat.
Holy shit, man.
I had chest tubes. Dude, I was the whole 9 yards. So like, they life flighted me to a trauma center. I guess I died on the helicopter and I died on the way into the ER. Cause our bodies have about 7 pints or 7 units of blood. Mm-hmm. I got 20 units pumped into me trying to save me. I don't remember any of this either, cause when they call it coding, if you code for like a certain amount of time, you might not ever be the same when you come back because of oxygen, I guess.
Lack of oxygen to the brain. Yeah.
So, I had coded once for like a minute 12 and then another time for like a minute 29. Duh. But they did a bunch of work on me in the emergency room and they saved my life. Wow. But they put me in a coma for like however long they wanted to.
Well, they put you in a coma.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, I don't know if when you bleed out and die, if the coma you go into is like, a natural. I mean, I guess a natural coma would be you die. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A medicated coma is, they have all your vitals still pumping. They have you on a breathing machine. They have, feeding tubes, pretty much plumbed into you. They have chest, they have everything plumbed into you to where it's like you're on a fucking, it's like, extracting hash. You know what I mean? It's like you're they're trying to vacuum off all the fucking, shit. But, no, that's what's up. And that's what I did for about the next 6 weeks until, they brought me out of the coma. I looked at my wife. I couldn't fucking believe it. I mean, like, you can't talk, because you have chest tubes and ventilators and you're hooked up to a bunch of machines. So it was like huge, bro. It was a crazy adjustment to go from running down to take care of some cops that might be at the front door of your grow to waking up next to your wife in an ICU room with about 6 to 8 weeks, span of difference.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And was your last memory that, like, you remembered what happened?
I just remembered kind of trying to crawl away.
Try to crawl away.
Try to crawl and take care of the situation and kind of like put a cap on it, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, just if you're like, just crashed a car and shit, you're like, hey, it's okay. Nobody got hurt. I already called the tow truck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything's being taken care of.
Yeah.
Because, I had a good feeling that the cops were already going to be, coming to this spot because of whatever gunshots just happened and different aspects. But that's how my mind thinks. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But, so, bringing that full circle to like the game and the industry and just, opportunities and adaptations, if you will, because, fast forward, March of 2011, I get shot. About July, I'm out of the hospital. Okay. And I'm talking like, all my family, all my friends, everybody had visited me in ICU. Caleb was there. I mean, everybody that ever wanted to say bye pretty much came and said bye. Because, if you're living, 100%. Like, 100%. And then I got transferred to another ICU. Kaiser wanted me, man, because I was in a Sutter ICU trauma center because I wasn't good enough to transfer. And so, once they got me out of the coma and, we're like, okay, you're stable enough to ship you to Kaiser. I went to Oakland and went to an ICU room in Oakland. And then I spent about, another 2, 3, 4 weeks in that ICU. And as soon as I started getting healthy, anybody that watches this podcast or, listens to this pod, I can't shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I talk a lot, dude. Yeah, when they took the tracheotomy out of my throat, bro, in the ICU room, because everything's a test, because when you go to ICU, you go there to die or to maybe get better. but ICU is not a good like department to be in. You know what I mean?
Hell no.
So once they started like being like, damn, because once I came out of the coma, I was like, take me off this fucking ventilator.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at this machine, bro, wanting to breathe for myself.
Yeah.
But you cannot. You can't. It's impossible. You have a big ass fucking tube going down your throat. You got a hole in your throat, but you have a ventilator hooked up to your face. And it's crazy
Probably very
because
uncomfortable.
it's very uncomfortable, bro. When you want to try to catch your breath, the ventilator machine is catching your breath.
Oh man.
So like even till today, 14 years into this game, into this new, life,
Sure.
I wear an ab binder just to kind of control my diaphragm.
Really?
Oh, dude, I have to, bro. If I wasn't wearing a ab binder right now under the wife beater, I would be lightheaded. I wouldn't even be able to catch my breath. I wouldn't be able to carry on a conversation without literally seeing dots, bro.
Is that because of the gunshot wound to your lung or because of the paralyzation?
It's because of my diaphragm being paralyzed on one side.
Okay.
So when normal people take a breath, your diaphragm goes up and down.
Sure.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Because you have two lungs.
Yeah, no doubt.
And your diaphragm goes up and down, and mine doesn't move on the left side. So
gotcha.
when I was in rehab, the doctor started doing ultrasounds, and they looked at it, and they're like, "Bro," and I'm like, "What's up?" I hate it when the doctor says, "Oh no,"
Right. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, and I'm a comedian, so I always make light of all the dark shit.
Yeah.
And we have to make jokes of, the whole time. Like as soon as I came out of the coma, dude, I started making jokes to the nurses. I had to get out of the, off the ventilator. I had crazy relationships in the hospital to the point to where when they knew I started getting better, they're like, fuck, we got to transfer him to the hospital and then transfer him to rehab. Because, you just don't go from ICU to the house.
No doubt.
And you also have to learn all that different stuff. So, it was crazy, bro. Crazy experience.
Jesus.
I mean, I can go off on that forever, but,
no, people need to hear this, man. This is fucking nuts.
Well, it's all about, either you're going to be optimistic or pessimistic. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
either
and your
your glass
attitude
half full.
behind it,
You
man,
have to have the attitude of, I'm going to, I'm going to conquer this shit.
And admirable how you handled that. Bro.
I mean, I remember when I was going home from the hospital out of Vallejo and I was passing by Berkeley, heading back out to San Ramon in the Pleasanton, San Ramon, Danville area where I kind of raised all my kids and, they grew up out there. I fucking drove past Alcatraz. And I said to my wife and my kids and shit, I was like, I'm going to swim from Alcatraz. And they're looking at me like, dude, we just got to get home. You know what I'm saying? We just got to get you home and you got to, be able to adjust to the house and the stairs and the bathrooms and the kitchen and just everything that wheelchair users have to kind of adapt to. And then boom, dude. Yeah, I did that shit in 2015.
Are you serious?
Oh, 100%.
Fucking swam to Alcatraz?
Yeah, bro. 1.3 miles. Took me about an hour and 15 minutes.
Aren't there sharks and shit out there?
Fuck yeah,
Fucking
bro.
sav, dude.
But I'd been a surfer and skater and snowboarder and shit like that my whole life. So
Time out.
doing a Alcatraz swim.
People do that? Is that a regular thing?
It's a regular thing. Yeah, people do that.
Do you have a boat following you?
Oh
Make
yeah,
sure it's good?
yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
I didn't know. If
I didn't
you
just
raw
go.
dog
Yeah,
this
no, I
shit.
didn't raw dog it. I
hey,
trained.
babe, I'll see you.
Nah, dude.
What the fuck?
It was.
Wait, how do you swim?
You just use your arms.
No, no doubt, no doubt.
Well, I'm sorry.
Does your legs?
Well, if
drop
I was
down?
a sinker, I would use floaties.
Floaties,
but,
okay, got you.
But I'm a kind of a floater.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on your body. So
Whoa.
once you're crippled and you're all up in the water, your body will show you. You know what I mean?
Shit, no way.
In 2013, bro, I went
big
to the
ups
Cayman
to you,
Islands for a dive trip. I have taken, and this goes out to anybody in wheelchairs. If any of you guys are disabled, anybody's got any kind of disability, you got any kind of thing you're challenged by, you got to get out there and push yourself, period.
Yeah.
You got to reach out to the nonprofits. You got to hit me up. I'll lead you to the right, organizations to make sure that you're doing recreational therapy That's what they call it in the disabled world. It's like, it's physical therapy, but you're doing it through recreational activities.
Got you.
It's huge important. I mean, like, I got into, everything I could as quick as I could. Being a veteran,
I'm getting that vibe from you.
Yeah,
for sure.
as soon as I knew that this shit was real deal, Holyfield, I didn't have no choice. You know what I mean? It was like, get out there, reach out, make sure you're doing what you need to do. And being, a dude that always trained his whole life, it was like, how do you get back into physical fitness when 80% of your body don't move? Like, literally, like, not just like, it won't move, bro. I don't have no abs. I don't have no core, no muscle control below my chest.
Yeah.
And that's not something I'm crying about. I'm just saying it's a fact.
That's what it is.
So you got to embrace it. So, like, if you can get into the gym, you can do lat pull downs, you can do shoulders, you can do bis, you can do tries, you can do every single thing that you can possibly imagine that you can pull off.
Sure.
And swimming, diving, surfing, riding mountain bikes in an adaptive way, getting out on the slopes. Like, I went to Breckenridge in Aspen the first winter I was paralyzed. I went out there with a bunch of veterans, bro, and fucking realized that I had no business out there. But
oh, no shit.
It pushed me. You know what I'm saying? It made me realize, like, hey, bro, it don't matter. Yeah, you're paralyzed. Get over it. Make it happen. Yeah. You got to go make it happen.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you don't go make it happen, you're going to be stuck in a rut until you get out of it. Because nobody can pull you out of it no matter what anyway. Because it's all, personal. And the only people that might be able to pull you out of is somebody is like in your very, similar circumstance. Mm-hmm. And paralysis is like snowflakes, bro. They're all different. So, like, if you got a gunshot wound and I got a gunshot wound, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean both of us are going to be paralyzed even.
Sure.
I mean, you could get shot through and through and it have no spinal cord injury kind of like, associated with it. And you're chilling. You just heal up. You bled out. You do a little physical rehab to get back some of the muscle, whatever you lost. Mm-hmm. Boom, you're good to go. But if you get a spinal cord injury, it's like nobody's ever recovered from it, period.
I know.
It's impossible to today. There's that Neuralink stuff. Shout out to Elon that's doing a bunch of work. But that's mostly going to be for people that are freshly injured, or hopefully if, I'm a good candidate, 14 years in and he comes up with something or some company comes up with something, but you got to stay healthy enough to where you could be a good candidate.
No doubt.
Because if you're not standing regularly with equipment, and this is just all for my wheelchair homies, if you're not standing in, accessory type of equipment, you're not putting that weight, that bone density. Mm-hmm. If you're not using bicycles that like stimulate your muscles, dude, I've had exoskeletons. I'm an advocate. I get what I want because, I don't stop until I do.
Yeah.
Shout out to one of my good homies, Arthur, AR. He's a civilian dude, normal kid, got shot out in Frisco at 19. He's been injured a couple more years than I have, okay? But he's from San Leandro. A bunch of my boys that are, like growers and different homies from the Bay on that side were like, hey, bro, you got to meet this youngster. I'm like, dude, just because he got shot and I got shot don't even mean like, we're going to be homies, and I'm busy, you know what I mean? I'm growing weed again. I'm doing all my things. I got hella fucking kids. I got mortgages. I got, all kind of family stuff to take care of. And like, why, but anyway, long story short, Arthur and I ran into each other years later.
No shit.
About 2 years later. And Arthur and I became really good friends till this day. One of my good friends. He says, and this is a manifest thing. This was a lesson for him because he was very envious of like all the shit that I had. Okay. Not in a jealous way, but just in a way of like, He's a T3 complete, just like me, bro. But he got shot, 19 years old, never got a chance to serve his country, never got a chance to even really do anything.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the type of access to things that I do.
No doubt.
Being a veteran, I go to the Palo Alto VA hospital.
Yeah.
I get in the system. I think I'm going to meet a bunch of go-getters, get after it, motherfuckers, not really. You know what I mean? They're more functional. But I got hookups with different like companies to where like they want a dude like me to try their shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They have like $80,000 exoskeletons. They're like, oh yeah, bro, I inserted myself into any opportunity I could.
Sure.
Just because, hey, I'm out there trying to get after it. You got some, exoskeleton company that's trying to get millions of dollars. You guys are, wanting to sell to the VA. I'll fucking walk in your shit. And if a T3 can walk in it, that means almost anybody can.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Were you ever able to do that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's why I started this story. But I told Arthur, I was like, hey, bro, check it out. You want one of these exoskeletons? I know you can get one. I know you're not a veteran. You're not going to get one like I got one.
No doubt.
But if you focus on the positive opportunities that are going to come your way and you make it happen, I'll help you make it happen. I was trying to teach him how to like manifest shit, how to positively, turn shit from thoughts into opportunities, into like real life, goals. And dude, within 6 months, that dude got his $80,000 exoskeleton.
Hell yeah.
He raised all the money. The company came through, donated a bunch of the money, and it was sick, dude. Arthur got the exoskeleton.
Hell
but I don't know how I got on that story. I kind of diverted hard from the Caleb days of building out that grow in 2007 to the 2011 days of my gunshot wound.
Yeah. You give us the aftermath of what happened after the wound.
And then, so around 2012 or so, Caleb's like, hey, bro, you got to come check out my grow in Oakland. I got, this was before any of us had any big ass warehouses yet.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to check it out, bro. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll see you there in the morning. So anyway, I meet him out there, and this was the first grow. You know what I mean? This was like the first warehouse grow.
88.
No. This is in Sacramento. This is.
I'm bugging. What was this?
This
shit
is
called?
in Oakland.
This shit was called something else. I know what you're talking about. Continue.
Yeah.
I know that.
I like to kind of keep a lot of that. Just I'll leave that to wherever it is. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But what ended up happening is, Caleb was doing his thing, and he was building the footprint pretty fucking hard. And then everybody started. He started picking up the spots in Sac. And that's when this was before 88 even. That's when. The first spot in Sac was Wayne, and then it was, Bandwagon, and then it was 88. And the thing about it was I started a trim company for Caleb. Well, for myself, but to help the boys. Because, basically, bro, if I'm on the team, it's like, I want you to succeed as bad as you want to succeed, if not more. So in Oakland, it was funny because after Caleb brought me over and said, hey, bro, he was just really proud. And, I was stoked for him because, this is like the homie. This is like the protege. Man. And so we went from, the first warehouse to where everybody had to, fight the case, or, be very careful during like 2011, 2010, 2012 timeframe. But then when it was all, full go, full steam ahead again, he built out the spot in Oakland, and he had basically used everybody he possibly could tap at this point, from helping with the grows to the trimming to, everything. So he's like, Sean, why don't you fucking help me out, bro, with like just getting all this shit trimmed up, bro? Like you got, you're really good at doing that, and you can still do all that. Cause it was really kind of an evolution for me. Cause being the grower, dude, and then go from being the grower to being the dude in the wheelchair that can't even really bend over and water a plant, let alone cut thousands of clones, move his moms around, spread out crops, do harvest. I mean, gardening is physical work.
Oh yeah.
And if it's if you love it, it's not the physical part of it's like a fucking bonus, especially if you love getting down and you're like an exercise kind of guy.
Yeah.
But now that you're in a wheelchair, bro, and you literally, you fall out of your wheelchair, you would really appreciate help getting back in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
can
can't.
imagine.
So we're down in Oakland, and basically that's where Total Harvest Solutions was kind of born. That's where I did that for like almost the next 8 years.
What's that, Harvest Solutions?
So THS, baby. Shout out to everybody that worked with us. I know you guys might be watching some of these pods.
Trim crew?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, big trim crew, bro. We basically, this is something I haven't really talked about a lot because I haven't been on, many platforms, but Caleb, everybody from Connected, everybody knows, this is when we were still cookies.
Okay.
Yeah, we trimmed up everything, bro. My crew and myself, we did all the warehouses. And so, there was no other trim crew, nobody else.
There's a bunch of Asian cats too?
No. This was way before.
Different crew.
That's a different era.
Okay, cool.
That's a different era.
I know there's other ill trim crew that's Asian.
Yeah, there's fucking fire Asian trim crews.
Yeah.
My trim crew was kind of like old school. Most of my crew was either out of Sac, out of the Bay, or out of Orville.
Okay.
And that's the irony because Jordan kind of came from up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
100%.
There's another
Lake Orville.
issue.
Yeah, and so I had a couple properties out there, like those 5 acre, 7 acre type things.
Yeah, how do you and Jordan know each other?
Well, Jordan started at Bandwagon from hitting Caleb up and getting a job. And so Caleb's like, hey, bro, I'm getting this fucking, he gave me the rundown. He was like, yeah, bro, this youngster hit me up, fucking said all this shit. And I'm basically going to give him the keys and see if he can drive. And I'm like, sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, I know you vetted him. I know you've already interviewed him. I know usually a pretty good call on talent. So, Bandwagon was just standing up, okay? And this was like another 100 lighter or so, a couple 70 light flower rooms, a little bit of veg.
I just lit up some of Jordan's weed too. That's crazy.
Nice, I love
just
Jordan.
started there, bro.
But the funny thing about it is he's like, anything you can teach him, anything you notice, because I was at the grows all the time. We'd be pulling shit down, putting shit down, and then processing everything. So it's like, to be honest, it was actually kind of a blessing. It was like a perfect time in my life to be able to like pick up and do some other shit.
Sure.
Still growing,
Yeah.
but I had to build out another 40 lighter and then teach the crew how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Gave you a little more purpose.
Well, it gave, because I was watching all my crew do running a 40 lighter, you don't have to have a hell of a lot of people.
No doubt.
So it's like I'm just watching over my boys' fucking shoulders all the time, wheeling around like the fucking annoying dude in the wheelchair and being like, hey, bro, top it off a little more. You know what I'm saying? Or cut this clone a little different, and it's like at the end of the day, people kind of grow into their own styles. I can try to influence the style as much as possible.
No doubt.
But they're going to do what they're going to do. As long as it's not detrimental, you got to let them just, bloom into what they're going to do. And that dude worked for me for almost 10 years. But hats off to John, the hat. But another Orville dude, cool dude.
Nice.
But what I did with Caleb was I let him kind of focus on the grow. And he didn't have to focus on none of the ancillary shit. You know what I mean? My crew, we handled everything. So if there was a 40 pound pull down, 20 pound pull down, or 150 pounds, we'd get that shit trimmed up perfect, bagged and tagged, all the trim, all the flour, everything all separated. And then I'd invoice him. And I'd be like, hey, here we go.
Nice,
and we were doing that in 2012.
Hell yeah.
And then we did that almost all the way up to 2020 to where it was getting super competitive on everybody's trying to undercut everybody. And there's a lot of backstabbing going on. And being a kind of a wiser, older dude, I notice when the snakes are moving around, and it's not like, I don't even care. It just, you can't help but be the snake. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's just who you are.
In your nature, yeah.
And so you'll see people moving and shit, plotting and planning, and it's all good. You're going to learn too that plotting and planning sometimes is not your best move. You should have, maybe, moved in a network, let's work together instead of, against each other.
Sure.
But that whole side of the industry went from, to where if you're a trim company, it's very hard to make money. You're providing a service that's super needed still, but it's very hard for you to squeeze out a margin that's acceptable for you to be like, hey, I'm working, 16 hours a day, managing people all over the state, or at least all over the greater Bay Area from, Oakland to the Central Valley to Sacramento. And then, is it worth it? That's kind of,
and what happened, do you think? Is just because the price of per pound for trimming went down, or a lot of 100%. Immigrants came in and was able to do it for less?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors, kind of like where we are in the market right now. It's not going to be one single death blow.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to be the
combination.
It's the shitstorm. It's the death by 1,000 cuts.
There you go.
And so, in my game, because I was in it like before anybody had a farm labor contractor's license, I had a FLC license. So, I tried to do everything the right way.
Okay.
And, before anybody was underbidding anybody. I mean, I remember when Caleb and I, he did his first 1 acre grow in West Sac on the full sun.
I remember that.
It was like, bro, that was so fucking fun. And, we had, 60 people out there helping pull everything down. Some was going to fresh frozen. Some was going here. Some was going there.
I was selling that oil.
Oh yeah, no, it was, dude.
In carts through my man's brand.
I'm sure.
It
was the
41s, the Gushers, the fucking
great.
The whole first
the Biscotti, all the
Biscotti Gushers,
all of them.
The now and laters.
It was funny because a lot of the different strains, like on the Baccio, the Gushers, they were kind of like same strain, just different phenotype. You know what I mean? It was like,
or one was pulled earlier, one came out greener,
or one just didn't finish the way you normally would expect a 41.
Yeah.
So or a 33, the old Larry Birds, or the Barry Bonds, because like, bro, the 25, the 33, the 41, and the 45 was crushing it.
Yep.
And
what was your favorite out of those?
Bro, I'm hard, dude. It's like, I loved them all, dude.
Yeah.
That 41 was probably one of my favorites.
The 41 was the original standout, and it's still standing.
But even the 33, like, it was just a little heavier,
heavier and creamier and candier.
I like the highs, bro.
The guava was ill too, though, and
they
the mochi
were fire.
The mochi was the shit. The mochi is my mom's favorite strain.
The funny thing is it just each run. You know how it is.
Of course.
You've been around enough grows.
We're remembering batches, by
it's
the way.
like,
We're literally remembering batches from these experiences.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
And sometimes customers want that same thing duplicated, and it's kind of impossible.
Yeah,
it's like, bro. It's like saying you want, 2 kids from the same parents the same.
Yeah.
Like, bro, my brothers and my sister, they're all different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but anyway, getting back to that timeline though, going back from, the 80s to the 07s to the, to the 2012, that time frame gave me an opportunity. I didn't know it at the time. Obviously being a little bit in the upper echelons of the weed game, just coming from the Bay Area, being involved with Caleb on the Fruit Ridge health and wellness thing way back in the day. And, being affiliated with a lot of the Oakland stores, but not really wanting to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I had homies, I'd always have a disconnect between me and like Third Floor or those like Oaksterdam spots or any of the old school dispensaries like Bulldog or whatever. I didn't have any of that shit. Didn't want any of my paperwork being involved. Never. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because I came from the old school. Like, I didn't care that it was legalized in 96.
You didn't want to be a part of any collectives.
I didn't want to have my name on any of that stuff ever. That's just kind of the old school I came from.
For sure.
But there was years in the late 90s, early 2000s where it's like, bro, I was picking up, 500-600 clones at a time, from different connections down there in Oakland. And it was kind of funny to watch, that era evolve into the next era. And then lo and behold, never knowing, one of my good friends, going through the levels, if you will, was going to be an MSO, biggest, one of the best successful brands in the game, if you will. And success is,
rightfully
you know,
so. Give
I
it
don't
up.
think success is a destination. It's like, you
It's
know,
a journey, and
it's
during his
you're-
journey, he was
you're
very
always
successful.
100%.
Is successful.
Much
and,
respect.
and is doing dope shit with his brand. Like
Super cool
I got
shit.
big love for Caleb, bro, and like I'll go out to lunch with him every once in a while. Yo, bro, let's grab lunch, and we'll just vibe out, talk about life. I'll pick his brain about business, and
Yeah.
see if there's anything we could do, or maybe I'll just see you next time for lunch. Like I fuck with Caleb as a human, you know what I'm saying?
But seeing
He's
that
ill.
like whole cookies era and then
yeah, what he's done
connected
is legend, bro.
and just being a trim company
Yeah.
and playing a part.
Dog, you played a big fucking part, bro.
You know, playing a part and being able to witness it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bro, you're being very humble. You own it. You got a piece of it. You got a piece of the pie, kid. That's
well, you
got to
be humble. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because
that's your character, and that's why
at the
you're
end of the
dope.
day, bro, if you're not humble, you get humbled
will
in
humble you,
whatever
yeah.
way
Word,
it ends
bro.
up happening.
Yeah.
You know, either in a parking lot at 2 a.m. or fucking,
Sure.
you know, just life will just slap you in the face and be like,
Oh, it sure will.
boom,
Sure
you know.
will.
But it's funny because, you know, those burner days and all those heavy cookie days, and then the dispensaries being cookies, and then going to Connected, and then Connected even becoming Catalyst, you know, and witnessing shit. I mean, like, you know, when I met Elliot in like 2016 or 17, Caleb calls me up and he's like, hey, bro, can you help these guys out? Because, you know, trim company's going fucking full swing. You know what I'm saying? Working at multiple locations all over the place. And especially this actually shows to Caleb's character, because a lot of people wouldn't do this, bro. Caleb had it locked down. You know what I'm saying? He's got probably one of the best like trimming company dudes in the game handling all of his spots. But he calls me up and says, hey, bro, these dudes are fucking needing some help. You know what I'm saying? They're pulling down bunch of fucking depths. They're processing it. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they kind of can get the cure on right, but like after that, you know, bucking it down, de-sticking it, curing it, processing it, packaging it, tagging it. Not like to where it's like, you know, you're all packaged, tagged up. Just bagging and tagging, baby, but being able to make sure that
That's
you're
the
doing it the
process.
right way.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm
a
saying?
fucking very important process.
On, you know, if not, you know, thousands of units, well, thousands, but at
yeah.
least hundreds
That's a
of
different
units
game.
per week.
That's
You
a
know what I'm saying?
different SOP.
And you got 10 or 50 trimmers all working at tables and everybody's being replenished. You have to. So I had it dialed, you know what I mean? Just from learning the ropes from the first little spot in Oakland, which, you know, was probably about 150 lights or something, to the biggest spot, the mothership, to, you know, everything in between. You know what I mean? Because I rode that train all those years. Well, anyway, he says, these guys need help, bro. And, you know, I told him that I might have somebody for him. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a friend of yours. And the reason I say that shows Caleb's character is because most people would want to keep that trim company on lock for their shit. They don't want to help anybody else out because who knows? I might turn this guy on to your shit, and then he starts, you know, kind of dropping the ball on my shit or not even servicing my shit.
And
And
you get
so
overbooked.
and you get overbooked.
Now
you
he's
know.
backed up.
So anyway, that's just how he is. You know what I mean? He's a good dude.
How did it all work out? It all worked out?
Well, bro, Elliot's one of my best friends now.
Nice,
You know what I'm
nice.
saying? Like he
Give me
operates
an intro with
Catalyst.
this guy, man. He's very elusive, but I see him everywhere.
Well, you got
know what I'm
to
saying?
very elusive. Like I see him
You know what I
everywhere,
mean?
but he's nowhere.
I want to get this fellow on the show, bro. He's definitely a factor, man. And
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he'd
love
be
what he
a
does.
great interview.
He's a wild.
Yeah.
He's a
Well,
wild interview.
You're in Sac
for
and he's
sure.
down in Long Beach, so it's a little bit of, but I'm in San Diego, so hey, Elliot, you got to make it happen,
We'll
bro.
fucking make it happen. Man. We'll get him up here.
Nah, not a problem.
He's probably got a store up here somewhere, right?
Not in Sac.
North
The
Carolina?
nearest Catalyst store would be Antioch
Okay,
and
gotcha.
Patterson,
Gotcha.
Daly City, Watsonville, Marina. Those are like most of the NorCal locations.
I mean, I got a SoCal list going. Like,
Yeah,
people
they've
out there,
been real
they've-
strategic
They've been
and-
very vocal about not coming up. And they're like, bro, we're not coming. You got to come down here. So I got a little list going.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I can put him on there, but come on up, man.
Nah, I
Get-
mean,
get
he
away
gets
from those
up
10
here for
stores you
sure.
got, man.
Yeah, he
Or how
gets
many
up here.
stores?
I think most of the times I've seen him kind of dropping in here. He's kind of hitting the state, you know, going to like some franchise tax board building
Sure,
or something,
sure. Oh, yeah,
or
it's
hitting
the capital, bro.
the Cali State Fair.
I know he's shaking shit up out here, bro.
Oh,
It's the
100%,
capital's right here, bro.
He's probably one of the leading advocates that actually knows what's going on in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because like Elliot's he understands the industry from start to finish. You know what I mean? And it's nice because it's not, you know, it's unusual for operators to actually know the game. You know what I mean?
He does.
They're
know.
either Chads and they kind of
puts us on.
You know, no offense to any Chads out there that are cool. I haven't met too many of you.
Right.
So
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. But that was it. It was like, you know, can you help him out? And that's how I met Elliot. And some of his partners and some of the homies that were running through that. I don't think that thing ended out the way they all wanted it to, but you know, it's kind of like comes with the territory, which sucked. But I worked with him for like 3 years at that spot, just crushing it for them until, you know, operationally we just had to kind of split ways because it just, you know, it just wasn't mathing, you know, the math couldn't math. And it's like, if you guys need to get this done for a cheaper price, I want you to be able to do that, but it ain't going to be with me. And so, you know, I much love, much appreciation.
No doubt.
And so, you know, well, it's a give and take in the trim world. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're
What's your bottom? What was your bottom?
Well, if you're not growing quality, and you want trimmers to kind of like, you know, make a miracle happen, you know, because when you start having a bunch of flarf and a bunch of like crazy, you know, it's like, nothing's filled out. Nobody can get any kind of numbers, including the grower. You know, it's like everybody's getting paid and getting compensated on a weight basis.
Yeah.
And so like if your work isn't finishing up the way you really need it to,
we're all fucked.
Well, we all might want to just think of a different way to, you know, utilize that product somehow. You know what I mean? But trimming it for packaged flower sales is probably not going to work. And I think they just kind of had to learn that the hard way.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like you can tell people what is going to happen, but then, you know, they might not believe it until it happens. You know what I mean? And that was one of the blessings about seeing so many things happen over the decades. You know, same thing with Caleb and I's friendship. When those grow things start to go sideways, friendships usually are you know, what gets sacrificed. And that's why I told him back in like 08, it's like, nah, bro, I'm not tripping. Like if you think you can run everything, I'll help you run it. But when something goes wrong, you'll own it. And if everything goes right, well, then you'll own that as well.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to be the dude that watches shit go, you know, south and, you know, each one of us weren't accountable. Do you know what I mean? Because that's really at the end of the day, and any grower will tell you that. You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, if everybody's running it, then nobody's running it. And that's, you know, kind of the problem. You know what I'm saying? You know,
but shout out to you for recognizing that and saving your friendship, because a lot of people, like you said, bump heads and then.
Well, it's greed that usually gets them, I think. It's the greed part.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Caleb and I were equals, and I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need to have a percentage of this for the rest of its life. If you take care of what I put up capital-wise and we're all good, brother, I will fucking still consult on any kind of problem, any kind of incident. Because that's usually what growers have to get through. Growers have to get through problems because they don't know what they don't know until they go through it.
Yep.
And there's no cheat code for going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like I could try to tell you how to prevent everything, but you don't understand how important those preventions are until you actually get saddled with the problems that you didn't prevent. Yeah. And then you end up going, damn, this
Try to cut that one corner.
Or whatever it is, you know, from spider mites to powder mildew to, you know, to bud rots to, you know, high temps, low temps, high humidities, low humidities, everything. You know what I'm saying? So until you've been through those things, it's kind of hard for you to take other people's words for them because you might be trying to, you know, push them, or, you know, it just is what it is. You know, it's like sometimes there just ain't enough food on the plate for everybody to be like, oh, we're eating fucking proper. You know what I mean? And it's like, have gone through all these different things throughout the decades. Bro, I was like, I already seen this fucking, you know, movie. I already know how this works. You know, the partners try to keep, you know, saying, you know, oh, we're good. And then one partner's like, oh, bro, I do way more than you. You don't do as much as I do. You don't deserve as much percentage.
That always happens.
And it's like, it's okay. It's okay.
Growing, hustling, running.
Everybody's trying to
business.
everybody's trying to figure out who's doing more work to try to justify, more of the food.
Yeah, that's why it's good to have partners that thrive where you fail, you know what I'm saying? Or thrive where you lack.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Because if you're both good at one thing, it's just like there's the workload's never even, bro.
Jumping back to Murphy's Ridge, that's kind of one of the big reasons why I kind of
tell us some more about Murphy's Ridge.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of blessed because being a grower with decades and decades experience, my partner on my farm has decades experience as well, and he's not crippled. You know what I'm saying? He's the grower of our brand, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we didn't get in this game to be a recreational brand on the market. We were just, dudes that grew lots of weed. Yeah. And that was that. Yeah. Okay.
Is this one of your dudes that used to grow lots of weed with?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
yeah. We've been together for like 10 years and we bought this property, together in like 2020 because Calaveras County changed the rules. Mm-hmm. Okay. They banned everybody's licenses. So, it's
that was crazy.
Yeah, they banned everybody's licenses and then they didn't open it up to anybody that had anything smaller than 40 acres. So if your permit was on a property that was 19 acres, well, it didn't matter. You either had to sell your permit or, go get in line to complain.
Right.
And so we saw that happening and, he was like, hey, bro, I have my eyes on those 200 acres right over there, right across from my 19 acres. And this is dope. You know what I'm saying? It's super beautiful. We're right up in the forest. We're, it's unbelievable up there. It's just, it's God's country, bro. It's just beautiful. Oh, yeah. And so I'm thinking like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm not a fucking, that's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Being like a outdoor greenhouse guy or a greenhouse living soil guy.
Sure.
It's like.
You're an indoor guy.
Well, had always been an indoor guy. Did a little, did some operations like, but that was like, just playing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Cause I'm an indoor guy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what, this be fun. You know what I mean? Fuck it. I had a wild hair at my ass. Like, let's go, let's go do this. And then I've watched the dep tickets. I mean, we were getting 26s for deps. You know what I mean? Just no problem, bro. Lineups.
So fakers or what?
Fire. Just deps that fakers all day. Nice. I would never sell them as fakers, but at the end of the day,
what it is.
My buyers know that they're fire dep. Yeah. If they go move them as whatever they move them, that's their business.
There was a time and a place for that.
There was a time and a place for that for years.
Oh, years.
And so we watched, all the tickets for all the wholesale just completely, just go away. And so 2015 to 2025, we were like, wow, we got to really kind of try to figure out how we're going to apply ourselves, or you get out of the game. I mean, you can't really be a grower on the wholesale side right now and be like, yeah, I actually make enough to keep the lights on and pay my bills. I mean, like,
it's rough.
It's very challenging. You have to have some type of lane that you're in that you're able to squeeze out some kind of profitability to where you're not in the red. Because as well as I do, it's like you can only operate, in upside down for so long to where if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, you can't, you're going to be bankrupt.
Yeah.
And so that's how I ended up getting into the brand game. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, look, we grow fire. We've always grown fire. We've always had people love our fucking smoke. Why not just be the farm, be the brand, be the whole, thing? But much easier said than done. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Looks good on paper.
Yeah, it looks good. On paper, it's super easy too. Even when you think about generally, you're like, okay, we're going to grow weed. We're going to package it. We're going to do everything. Or, and then you start actually even finding out like, oh, fuck, I need more licenses. Mm-hmm. I need this. I need that. And that's the journey, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't been posting up as much on my Instagram about the journey just because, I feel like I've kind of, ran that one, till the wheels fell off.
Sure.
I don't know how much people want to like see the journey as much as they did during the beginning, you know, so content wise, you know, cause that's what it's all about. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you own a brand, you know, oh, you own a farm.
Oh,
you
you
must
made
be
it.
killing
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
you must
Oh.
be crushing it. And
Is
I'm
this
like,
your first day in California?
yeah, that's kind of funny. You know, it's like, no, dude, you can own, you know,
No, sir, I'm not.
You know, yeah, I'm
But
not
we
killing it or crushing it.
we're fucking working.
We're working our asses off, you know, trying to stay, you know, competitive and literally beat the Budweiser type brands that are just, you know, white label guys. That's, you know, why we're very adamant about, you know, trying to be quality but affordability. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
How much are your eighths in the stores average?
I'm 15 to 20 out the door.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. If they're
Nice.
under 15, then there's a little bit of extra love going on. There's some type of sale.
Okay.
But like at Catalyst, we're 16 out the door. At Bird
Nice.
Spots, we're like 15, 16 out the door.
And what do you sell them to the clubs for?
Anywhere between probably 6 and 8. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? I mean, like that's pretty much what they need to get it at.
Yeah,
know,
to offer those numbers, yeah.
You know, I kind of started the journey on the recreational game with like, hey, I just want to be $20 or less to like the customer out the door. Not 22, not 25. I'd love to be 10. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd love to be 15, but there's so many taxes,
There's a lot of taxes,
and there's
man. It just went up. It
and
just
the
went up again.
retailer has to keep their light on.
Of course.
You know,
I get it. I
I
understand that
so
whole ecosystem
It's
for sure.
it's kind of a funny system that we find ourselves in.
That's a good ticket, bro.
I mean, it is what it
It's-
is.
yeah.
I mean, you know, I tend to think like, you know, if I can get it to them for the cheapest price possible, they will, you know, continue that price to the customer. You know what I mean? And so
How's
like,
it flowing? How's it going?
oh, it's fine.
Good.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we went from 0 stores to, you know, like I said, about 60, 70, you know, stores.
That's healthy.
And we're still growing.
That's
you know,
healthy.
like I got some
That's
other
definitely
relationships that I'm cultivating, you know, when it comes
Nice.
to like retail partners, because the retail partnership is a slow game. You know what I mean? It's like you don't sell a bunch of work overnight.
No, it
you
takes
know,
a while to ramp that up.
You have to,
gotta
you
give
know,
a lot
you have
in
to,
the beginning.
you have to pay the dues.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go in there. You have to get, you know, settled in with bud tenders. You have to get
Oh,
the
yeah, you
customers, you know,
Yeah,
to
you do.
recognize you and remember you. You know,
100%.
I try to always
You
leave
do a good
people.
job, man. You do a
Thank
good
you. I
fucking job.
appreciate that, brother. I try to do a good job, and wherever I can't
That's how I met this guy.
be doing the job, I want to get better. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not
Sure.
doing the job the right way, I want to try to learn what's wrong, you know, what I'm doing wrong. And so, you know,
How many demos you doing still? Like,
shit, I try to do as many as I can per week. But
Nice.
my son, Ryan, down in San Diego and LA, Orange County, Inland Empire, blah blah blah. He handles most all of like the day-to-day demos now.
okay.
But I'm still backfilling. So like I'll cruise through like the Central Coast and try to hit like 4 or 5 stores over like a day or two period.
Nice.
Then I'll hit a lot of the Central Valley spots from Fresno up to Sac. And then once a month, he'll take off out of San Diego and come through Daly City and the East Bay and then work back down to LA. And in about 2 or 3 day period, he'll hit like 12 stores. You know, we try to hit like 2-3 stores a day. You know what I mean? As like, you know, just trying to be in all the dispensaries a couple times a month. So like if you're a dispensary that's doing, you know, pretty decent volume, we at least try to visit twice a month. Cause bro, those 2 times you're there, you run into customers that didn't even know you existed.
Yep.
You know, and it's hard, but that's the only way to do it. There's no shortcut to success. You have to actually go out there and put in the reps, just like you would if you're trying to get toned up or lose some weight or get more, you know, mass. You know, you got to go put in the reps. If you want to bulk up, well, you got to eat some protein and go put in some high weight, low reps, put on that mass, you know, and if you want to be a successful brand in the recreational market, obviously you have to solve a bunch of that back office stuff, you know, but you have to be in the stores, you have to be at the events, and you have to be at the bud tender trainings, trying to offer the bud tenders a wide spectrum of knowledge about the industry. You know, about where we're at, where we came from, who we are. I'll specifically talk about us, but I'll talk about the industry a lot too, and kind of almost get off on a tangent where I'm not focusing on the Murphy's Ridge aspect, but I'm focusing on how they're trying to service a customer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they got a crazy job. You think about it, a lot of bud tenders are like either entry level position, or if they're starting to get really good at what they do, they get tapped for promotion. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're going to either go be a lead,
be a buyer,
or they're going to be a buyer. They're going to be a lead. They're going to be a, supervisor, manager, maybe a district manager, so they're trying to pull from those ranks, because then that way they know how the operations work, but they, need to have a wide spectrum of knowledge about, like we were talking earlier about the older folks, dabbing threw you for a loop,
That's crazy.
They have to know about edibles. Crazy. They have to know about, pre-rolls. They have to know about flour. They have to know about, where the farms are from, if they're a white label farm, or if they're just, pushing some random product, or if there's, a lot of medicinal value from this product compared to this one. And they have to size that all up in a customer within like the first 5-10 seconds. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they're a good bud tender,
no doubt.
And I'm not saying bad bud tenders don't do that. I'm just saying, if you're in my, aspect, I think that if you're really a good bud tender, you're gonna treat each customer the way they probably want to be treated, and then that way you can service them the best. You're not gonna try to fit a square peg in a round hole with a customer that you're trying to push something to, and they're like, nah, I'm kind of looking for something else, what I mean? But you have some numbers, or you have something, or you have pressure, from the retail side to push this product. They have to keep all these factors in mind, what I mean? Man. Otherwise, they won't be bud tending for very long.
That's how it works.
But they have a lot going on, and that's like, boom, everything has to go through that register. Everything from the brands getting paid out to the taxes to the retailers, being able to expand, or the brand being able to pay their payroll, like everything has to go through that register. So it's, it's a lot, bro. And, it's crazy. It's a crazy aspect of the, the game, you know?
And slept on, not really talked about, because
not really that much,
because it's an entry level position, but I know some killer ass.
There's some OG bud tenders that really enjoy it.
That's what I'm saying. There's some OG bud tenders that are like still crushing, man.
Crushing, bro. I know.
Yeah, that's who you want repping.
A bunch of them.
Take care of those people.
I get blessed running into them from Long Beach to San Bernardino to San Diego to Fresno to Santa Cruz. I mean, like, bro, it's so. That's actually the funnest part of building a brand, is getting out in the stores and building it. To where when customers are coming in and they're like, hey, what up, Sean? And I'm like, bro, thank you, man. I've run into customers at like Chick-fil-A and shit, and in and out.
No
I'll be
way.
like, I'll just be at a spot, a random spot. Yeah. I was at the Sheraton in LA doing a wheelchair event with some homies from Texas. And I was just rolling through the lobby. Me and Bailey were just pushing. And then all of a sudden some dude yells, Murphy's Ridge, bro. And I turn around, and it was another dude in a chair. And it was funny because he's like, bro, I buy that weed, bro. And I'm like, oh, you seriously? And he's like, yeah, dude. Who are you?
Right.
I'm like, bro, I'm just the owner, dude, bro. I want to tell you I appreciate you. Yeah. And it was funny. He told me where he bought it at, all this shit. And I was like, bro, such a small world. Super cool. Yeah. That's rewarding.
It is rewarding.
Especially when the customers are stoked on the quality. They're super stoked on the price point. And they're like, I appreciate what you're doing. And I'm just like, bro, I appreciate the opportunity to try to earn your support. Because that's why it's so excuse my French. That's why it's so hard. Though I know. That's why it is so hard though, dude, for the farms to actually do this connection with the customers. Because, bro, if you're a good grower, you're probably at the farm grinding.
All the time, every time.
Me and my partner, totally, dude, we're kind of blessed in a situation to where it's like, we're either too stupid to quit, or we're just like, we ain't quitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he gets to grow weed and I get to sell weed in a sense. I go to the farm, you know, I'm heavily involved in the operations, and that's some of the stuff
I don't doubt that.
I don't post up about that, you know, like when a lot of people do a lot of like posting on different stuff.
Sure.
I kind of keep the journey and the farm separate. You know what I mean? I try.
Yeah, you did.
You know,
I didn't even put that all together.
Well, because I don't really think that we should be targeted, you know, even more than we are.
Yeah,
you know,
no, you're doing it good.
I mean, bro, we can talk 5 hours about this industry because, like, you know, cultivators, distributors, all kind of different aspects of this industry, bro. You know, we get hit, and those hits are hard. Especially if you ain't some, you know, crazy multi-million-dollar corporation, hedge fund, investment firm that's just in the game, and, you know, you're Canadian or you're, you know, on some New York, you know, exchange. And if we got hit, it could be detrimental. Do you know what I'm saying? It could be catastrophic to your existence in the industry.
No doubt.
And so, like,
Absolutely.
I tend to just try to keep the social media, the podcast, everything geared towards, you know, talking about winning, but winning through what are we doing? You know, let's document the journey. You know, everybody loves following how hard I get after it. You know, I'll be in San Diego,
dope,
I'll be in Frisco, I'll be in Santa Cruz, you know, all in 5 days. You know what I'm saying? Like I do thousands of miles every week. I pretty much am on the road every week, week in, week out. You know what I mean?
I leave. Nice ride, dude. That's
thank you,
that's
bro.
a perfect ride for that.
Yeah, the sprinter game.
You, bro. Yeah,
yeah,
you got that thing hooked up.
The sprinter game, I'm blessed. You know, it kind of doubles as lots of things. So you know, I'm being being adapted. You know, I've adapted to the game, and I wear many hats. You know, we're the growers, we're the distributors, we're the processors. The flower, the products, they don't leave the farm. You know what I mean? Because then that way you're never really going to get in a situation where, you know, something, you know, hocus pocus is going on. Somebody's, you know, processing something, saying it's one thing, it might not be that. I mean, there's a lot of aspects of this industry. If you're not on point, you can get taken advantage of, and
bro.
you don't want to be put in that position. You know what I mean?
Bro, on my way here, I was just talking to my man, a very well-known person in the industry. I ain't gonna say it, but like he just got hit yesterday, bro. Left the grow. This fucking dumbass driver pulls off at a Wendy's in the hood. I'm not even gonna say what hood, but just know, if you know, you know, you shouldn't have did that. And then they fucking ran down on him right there, drew down on him, took all his shit. My boy probably took a $120K loss.
Yeah, one of my really good homies, a good grower up in Hayfork, amazing grower, small craft guy. Yeah, he just got, I'm not even gonna say who or whatever.
No doubt.
But he just got hemmed up just the other night. Zipped, not him, but all of his trimmers. He was in the house, didn't even know what happened until all of his trimmers fucking started beating on his window. They all got zip tied. And they got off with a couple hundred trimmed units, all dialed, all perfect, nice. And it's fucked up because, you know, we're targets, bro. I'm sitting here in a wheelchair from a gunshot wound, already targeted by jack boys that were trying to grab, you know, a bunch of free product, thinking this is my best come up of my life. And all they ended up doing was ruining their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because
did they get caught?
They did get caught.
Oh, no shit.
And at the end of the day, they ended up doing time. The shooter ended up doing a bunch of time. The shooter's passed away, dead now.
Oh, shit.
But, you know, I don't think that my chapter, the incident with us was a value add to their lives. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I came up just probably like these youngsters. You know what I'm saying? Not one of them was over 20 either.
Oh, no way,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that's not the come up. You know what I'm saying?
No, hell no.
You know, doing licks and thinking that, like, you know, jack moves are you know, your future.
Whack,
it's
bro.
just so fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not that it's just fucked up on the it's fucked up level, but it's it's doing the opposite for them that they think it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because karma's gonna come back to you, bro.
It always happens.
Oh
every
man,
time.
I played that game for a very
Every
short stint
time.
in my teenage years, bro.
Everybody
And
had
it
a
got
little.
me all back.
Everybody had a brushing with it, bro.
Yeah.
I come from a family that did the shit.
Fools, couple stick ups, and then that shit starts coming back to you.
100%.
And then to the dollar amounts that you was sticking fools for. Like I had a spooky one happen. Me and my man, whatever, we did some bullshit. We got somebody, but watch this. We got robbed for the same amount, like to the fucking penny. Years later.
Crazy, right?
And we were both involved in this shit. Like it was fucked, bro. That was I was probably like 20 fucking, I don't know, late 20s. And that's when I officially understood and respected and believed in
signed
karma.
off on that shit.
Signed off.
Yeah.
I'm like, I called him like, yo, son, you remember what happened? And you remember what motherfuckers just got us for? How much was that? Yeah. Yo. Yeah,
it was.
Oh man,
it was crazy because I kind of grew up around a lot of those people.
Me too, man.
You know what I mean? Like even in my own family, bro.
Shit. Like what the fuck? I mean, I stay the fuck away from them. They're not like my close friends.
I'd have to be fucking straight up, hiding money in my shoe, and then waking up in the morning and going straight to my shoe, and the shit being empty. And being like, how the fuck?
Crazy work, bro.
And just that kind of life, know.
Word, bro.
Yeah, but what
are you gonna do?
Some people are gonna learn, the easy way and the hard way.
Yeah, man. So what's next for Murphy's Ridge? What can we expect from you guys? Let's let the people know where we could find you.
So really just a lot of the same.
Okay, cool.
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, like rinse and repeat, baby.
Beautiful.
Work sometimes isn't the most complicated to figure out. It's just the hard part is executing on it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be coming out with a few new products to add to the line, but we sell eighths, quarters, halves, and zips. We sell 5-packs of Ridge Timbers that are non-infused. So it's like, you get an eighth, pretty much same cost as flour. Mm-hmm. And then we have a 7-pack of infused pre-rolls that are all half grammars. Nice. So, a lot of those companies were, what I noticed when I got into the pre-roll game, because it's all single source, it's all just from the farm. Why not, instead of trying to, because a lot of the people that sell joints, they want to buy my shit. Like a lot of the trim, a lot of the pre-roll companies, they're not single source. They don't grow the material that they're putting in their pre-rolls. Mm-hmm. And so why would we sell our material to another company so they can put a mark on it and put it in a different package to try to sell it to a customer that they don't know anything about? And so we put 7 in the pre-roll jars right out the gate. Nice. I think the customers, it's always about the customer being treated fairly. That's why, a lot of these retailers that have tried to like gouge the customers, they're going out of business. Mm-hmm. They're either in receivership already or bankrupt, and they're just, they can't, there's no way for them to actually operate. Cause even if you can get a few people here and there, it's like people aren't stupid. They're not going to go shop at a store that's gouging them when they can go to a store that's going to treat them fair. Yeah. And they'll seek it out. They'll find it. They'll gravitate to those stores. But I'm coming out with a new 20-pack of pre-rolls. So there'll be a half ounce of
That's
pre-rolls.
like an official pack, like a cigarette
yeah,
pack.
It's kind of it's
how many grams or point?
It's going to be 4. They're all 0.7s.
0.7.
Because I think a 0.7 is pretty good. Like these are 0.7s. And they get me fucking lit.
I'm about to fire up one of these hogs.
Yeah, I mean, like these are 0.7s, and sometimes I can't even chong them all the way down.
Not that one. I'm not doing the papaya right now.
Oh no, too heavy.
No, I might
try
get a little
that gelinade if you can tell which one. I think it's this
one. Yeah, it's this one for sure. Yeah, we'll fire up the gelinade. That's what's up, man. Yo, speaking of strains, before we go, I'm going to
do a fresh ground product too, because a lot of people like the fresh ground.
Bro, I've heard of this shit. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. You're going to have sawdust by the time you get it.
But people,
God forbid that shit sits for a week or two.
That's the thing is,
but get some Grove bags, and it will fucking keep your shit fresh, even if it's shake.
There you go. We got to do the Grove collab.
We got.
And so we're gonna come out with a little product like that. Some higher counts on the pre rolls, And
That's dope, bro.
and then just keep driving hard. You know what I mean? Because
Cool, man.
even at a lot of the retailers that I've been working with, for either 2 or 3 years straight, dude, there's still customers that, don't know I exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope there's going to be a bunch of customers and, potential, homies that didn't know I exist until I showed up here.
Dude, fuck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro, hell yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean,
Absolutely,
I know you
man.
got a pretty big following, and
Yeah, man.
and
You're gonna put mad people
I've
on.
actually talked to a few people that were like, "Yeah, bro, I fucking love that Good Pizza podcast." I'm like, "Oh,
Okay,
dope,
cool,
okay,
man.
yeah," because
That's what's up.
different markets, and being out there a little more now. That's kind of what one of my goals are now. Is to get more out on the branding side.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lose focus on the stores and paying attention to the customers and being there for the bud tenders. but one of the bigger things now I have to go try to do to be an established brand
Hell yeah.
is get the articles, get the podcast.
You're damn right.
I mean,
you deserve it, man. You deserve it. You have a great
Yeah, I mean,
story.
I got
And
great-
You're one of my OGs. I didn't
Thank you, brother.
realize you were my senior by one generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And by
me
the way,
neither.
let me just bring it back to this real quick. This motherfucker's smoking. This motherfucker's sweating, smoking. Like, this is nice, bro.
That gelinate's fire,
Gelinate's
huh?
nice, bro.
Yeah.
Murphy's Ridge. Before we get up out of here, I need your top 3 strains of all time, Sean. One old school, one new school, and one desert island strain you stuck on the island with for the rest of your life.
Man, it's kind of crazy because I go back so many decades and there's so much fucking.
Oh, I know.
I mean,
know.
from some crazy ass like Packy, like Afghan Kush to the Afghouis to the skunk number ones
Yep.
to like
That's a good one.
some crazy train wrecks.
I always stress the OGs out with this question. All the
Some
old
super
heads.
silver hazes, bro, that like I haven't seen in 30 years, 25
Yeah.
years that genetic
Mm-hmm.
just disappeared. But dude, honestly, man, I mean, fuck, there's so much fire out there. It's so crazy. It's so hard to like pick. But I'd love like to be honest, I love that like sour, that sour diesel kind of like, maybe almost even skunky. Man, 3 strains, bro. Fuck, dude.
So you doing that one for your old school or the desert island?
I'd have to say that as old school as possible, a GDP.
Okay.
Okay, just as close as it's
Bay Area, a very Bay Area.
Yeah, as
answer.
close to
I
like
salute that.
the
You know
old
what I'm saying?
school, Purple Dave,
Yeah.
whoever, just Ken's GDP, whoever,
Whoever
I
it
don't know who
was.
had it, who I'd seen it for many, many, many years.
Leave it in the comments.
We grew so much of it that it was like nobody wanted fucking Granddaddy Purple anymore. They wanted the green weed, But
So that's your old school. What's your desert island?
damn, bro, it'd be between Chem Dog and Trainwreck.
Respect.
I
Ooh,
love
very different. Very
well, I
different.
just love both those terps, and if I'm gonna be on a desert island,
sure.
you know what I'm saying? It's gonna have to be something super like unique, like
Chem
like
Dog's
almost
a great
like
desert island strain.
yeah, like a crazy like headband Chem Dog type,
yeah.
just hella gassy, but like almost diesel
That,
fuel. Just
ugh, brother. Ugh.
I mean, I love but yeah, it'd have to be that either a Chem Dog or like a train wreck.
Okay.
And then, bro, I'm a Durban Poison fucking. I love Durban Poison. Jordan hooked me up with some of his.
So we're going that for new school, the new Durban?
Yeah.
Poison? All right, for sure. I'll let you
yeah.
get that. I'll let you get
I-
that. Because that was a new experience for me. Like, yo, I never
That shit's fire.
had this grown like this. This is incredible. Okay, cool, man. And one last question before we get up out of here. If you could go back to the young you, the day before you hopped off the porch and jumped in the game, what advice would you tell you?
Oh man, patience is a virtue. Patience. It's like a lot of times I'll tell people if you've never grown weed, even if you're not a good grower, you're just, never interested, try it. Grow. Because if you're a smoker and you want to try it, you might want to find out that, it's not easy or you think it's great. You have a green thumb, who knows? But I always tell people, if you're going to learn so much from just growing either one light, plant, tent, a little outdoor, something. It's going to teach you a ton about yourself. You know what I mean? About patience, planning, you know, being able to see something through, because it takes you, you know, 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks if you're vegging it out for a couple weeks. But yeah, I'd say patience, baby. Patience. Because nothing happens overnight. It don't matter if you want to become a doctor or you know, Al Capone. You know, you're not going to be one or the other overnight. So be patient. Understand that, you know, everything you do, if it's worth anything, it's worth waiting. So, you know, just you know, be hardworking. You know what I mean? Be hardworking. Always finding work.
Murphy's Ridge.
That's it, baby.
Murphy's Ridge. Where can the people find you? Let them know right here.
So you can find me all over California, mostly in Premier Society, Catalyst, Cake House, working on getting back in with SAC. I kind of fell off the bandwagon a little bit with Connected. Love you guys. But other than that, all over the Bay Area, all over Sacramento, Toasty, Central Valley, all up and down, you know, PAX, all this Premier stores, Blue Fire, PCF, higher level. I think it's higher level. Yeah, higher level down in Fresno. All over California. Shit.
Hell
you
yeah.
know?
Appreciate
Biggest
you,
retailers in the game. March and Ash now down in San Diego.
Nice.
Because, you know, Bert and Premier have the Puff and Dash going. Yep. Yeah, Puff and Dash. That's it. Appreciate it, JP.
Appreciate
I just got lit, dude. Started kind of thinking about myself.
It's all good, man. Thanks
Appreciate
for
you,
through.
brother. Appreciate the time.
You already know, man. Murphy's Ridge, good pizza. Thank you for all the Patreons for your subscriptions. We appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for everybody that subscribed to YouTube. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to YouTube. Like and subscribe. You already know you can get our weed all over the state of California. Go get some veggie pizza, our mixed light lime with Buck Mountain collab. Go get our pizza in Jersey. We're in Cookies Harrison, and 9 other stores. You already know. Peace, love, good pizza. We up out of here.